One of our favorite sponsors is back with us, Sunset Lake CBD.
Yeah.
If you're looking for CBD that actually does what CBD is supposed to do, look no further than our friends over at Sunset Lake.
Let me break it down.
Break it down, Mel.
They're sustainably farmed, meaning they avoid pesticides and use sustainable farming practices to preserve the land for future generations. 1. 2, farm to table. They ship the CBD products straight from their door in Vermont directly to your door wherever you're at.
Now that's cool.
And third party tested. They test everything with a third party to ensure quality, dosage, and safety.
You got to go over and check out sunsetlakecbd.com. They have so many products. Break it down for them, Apple.
Well, they've got some new stuff going on. Like they always had pre-rolls, but now they got really cool packaging for it. And you can get CBD pre-roll flights of all their flavors. You can get the heavy hitter flight that also throws in some of their Keef blunts. They have a new CBD recovery body lotion.
I'm excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other?
The other one with arnica.
The extra strength muscle rub, 3,000 milligram with 5% lidocaine.
So look,
Oh, yeah,
if you're
lidocaine.
sore, this is the stuff you want to rub on your body to make those aches and pains go away. They even have CBD infused coffee, so you can have coffee without the little jitter that you get from caffeine, and you have it in the morning and you start your day off right. Your body feels lubricated. You're going to sleep good.
Yeah, and also they have, if you kind of forget to reorder, they've got subscriptions.
And they're giving the No Simple Road family 20% off.
20% off.
Put
with
in the promo code NSR20 when you're checking out at sunsetlakecbd.com. You're going to get 20% off your entire order.
NSR20.
And don't forget those cute little gummy bears.
That's right. sunsetlakecbd.com, one of our favorite sponsors, is back. Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hey, what's happening?
Yo. So, check it out. Do you like to smoke weed, but you don't want to get super high? Do you like
Sometimes.
like you don't want to get paranoid?
Actually,
feel
no,
weird?
I don't. I like all the highs.
Well,
that
there's
give
some
me.
of us that don't like that feeling of getting all weird and too high
And for you
paranoid
guys.
and have anxiety. And for those of us that feel that way, our sponsor, Sunset Lake CBD, has something
Whoop de
special.
whoop, Sunset Lake.
This shit is no joke, man. This is the premium CBD.
It really is.
These guys are a farm out of Vermont, and it used to be a farm that made milk for Ben and Jerry's, and they wanted to diversify.
So they've been wanting to have fun from the beginning.
Yeah, they they collaborate with
Ice
the
cream and CBD. Yes.
University of Vermont to implement regenerative agricultural practices such as cover cropping and crop rotation to preserve soil health and fertility for future generations. Their hemp is 100% pesticide free, and they use only organic fertilizer. And check this out, just like here in Oregon with the cannabis industry, when the dispensaries get shipments of cannabis, they get a report from the laboratory. When you order from Sunset Lake, you can actually look on their website and see third-party test results for all the products. And they have a social mission, which is to advocate for ending the war on drugs, which we are all fully behind. They are donating 4.2% of online sales in July and likely further to the Drug Policy Alliance in hopes of furthering police and prison reform as it relates to drugs. Also, these guys take care of the people that work for them by paying their employees a minimum wage of $15 an hour. So
That's pretty dope right now.
a company you can feel good about supporting, sunsetlakecbd.com. Look, here's the deal. They sent us this huge box of
Goodies.
All the goodies they carry.
Yeah.
I have been looking
Two
for
of
something.
everything.
I've been looking for something to smoke since we moved to Oregon. This stuff came all the way from Vermont, and it has been my go-to every single day since they sent it to the house.
I'm grateful to Sunset
Yes.
Lake CBD. I really am, because you guys really have helped to chill Aaron out in the way that he needs it.
Yeah,
And,
For real.
for real.
and we got
it's
an
cute
update.
to see you smoking out here. That's something that's not a fucking cigarette.
Right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, that's true.
What was the update?
The
Apple?
update is me and Aaron tried the coffee last weekend on Saturday morning. First of all, amazing coffee with without the CBD, whatever.
My favorite
amazing beans, very good roast. It's like premium coffee. and then you add their beautiful CBD to it, and you drink that, and
You're awake but laid back.
about 10 minutes later, very relaxed. It was fun sitting out on the porch, being like invigorated and mellow at the same time.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That sounds heavenly.
It is. It's awesome. And I posted on Instagram, I was like, it's like getting kicked by a mule with socks on.
Oh my God.
It is, man. It chills you out.
How did you post it?
With my thumbs like this.
Okay.
So check it out. If you're interested in getting some of this wonderful CBD products, go to sunsetlakecbd.com and put in the promo code NSR15 when you check out. They're going to give the NSR family 15% off your whole order. And my boss actually went
Try
and
the gummies.
ordered some of it the other day.
He did?
And when he got on the site, he was like, holy shit, look at these prices. This is awesome. So go check it out, you guys.
Yeah, my nephew did too. Ordered some tinctures. I had to check in with them.
Right
We'll
on.
report back.
So gummies, tinctures, keef, flour, coffee, stuff for your pets, you name it, they got it. Sunset Lake CBD. Go check them out. They're part of the family, you guys.
What's happening?
What's up, Mel?
Our wonderful, faithful, longtime sponsor, Shop Tour Bus.
Shop Tour Bus.
Shop Tour Bus. Woo! They sent us a beautiful letter that we thought would be the awesome.
No.
What?
No.
No,
that
they
did not
didn't.
come
That
from
didn't
Shop
come
Tour
from.
Bus.
It came from who?
That came from a listener.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is full circle. Shop Tour Bus is known for their wonderfully thoughtful, Grateful Dead, lyrical inspired merchandise, t-shirts, hoodies, stickers, cute stuff, and it comes to you in a hand design box that's specially made for you that can be customized upon checkout.
It is the dopest merch on the virtual lot, period.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And not only will you get your item that you ordered, you will also get a bootleg, I want to say CD, but it's not a CD, it's a tape. It's a cassette.
Cassette tape.
And it's going to be magical. Whatever it was that was ailing you or freaking you out, you're going to put on that tape and you're going to let your worries drift away.
And when you're listening to that tape, you can wear that unstructured dad hat or trucker hat with Fire on the Mountain embroidered on
the
it.
mountain.
One of those things. Or you could wear that new t-shirt or hoodie that you got and you'll feel good. Life will be good. Like
this wonderful letter that we got. So this is a listener of the show who sought out Shop Tour Bus, and this is their story. Dear Aaron, Mel, and Apple, I just had to write and let you know how lovingly taken care of by Shop Tour Bus we have been. I have been ordering for fun Father's Day and now for our son Alex, who after some difficult times recently became a salesman for Volkswagen in Devon, Pennsylvania. Of course, since he just sold us a new VW due to the rising repair costs of our old car, we had to use this occasion as an opportunity to shop at Shop Tour Bus. The t-shirt, the bus came by and I got on, was the perfect opportunity for us to send our son to a very special box from Shop Tour Bus. Not to a box, but
they send him all the way to a box.
Yeah,
get in the
that
box,
box.
you little schmuck.
No, they say it nice because they want to congratulate him.
It's a nice box, too.
Get in here, son. Things for him clicked and came together. As far as his first car was a VW, now he has two more. Works for VW dealer. We can support Tour Bus, and that means support you too. Now I have my eye on a wedding anniversary box to send to my husband, and I see the custom photos of the box Tour Bus just sent me of the box they're shipping out. So awesome. Good vibes, Susan in Pennsylvania.
Aww.
So the box says, congrats on the new job.
And for selling your mom and dad a VW.
Yeah. And love mommy and daddy. And so look at how personal and sweet that was. That's like a big deal. It's like specific to that family.
So look.
Yeah, thank you, Susan.
So
thank
if you want to
Shop Tour
support
Bus.
like these thoughtful, people that create this beautiful merchandise for everybody's life, then hit up Shop Tour Bus on Instagram, shoptourbus.com on the web, and put in the promo code No Simple Road, and you will get
free shipping.
Free shipping. So yeah, you guys head on out to Shop Tour Bus, enjoy their merch, enjoy the goodies, and tell them we sent you. You'll get free shipping, and we love you, Shop Tour Bus.
You get a whole hell of a lot more than you bargained for.
Boom.
Oh.
Hey everyone, Chris Pandolfi from the infamous String Dusters here to let you know that my podcast, Inside the Musician's Brain, is back on the airwaves for Season 4, which means it's time once again to get deep with influential musicians from all across the musical landscape to really understand and translate the lessons of success, failure, inspiration, and hard work that are behind the music and the artists that we love. My guests this season include Rachel Price from Lake Street Dives, Sam Bush, Chris Wood, Chris Funk from The Decemberists, Lindsay Liu, MC Taylor from His Golden Messenger, and more. Check us out, and thanks for listening.
We're so excited to tell you a bit about today's sponsor, Music Masters Collective. They are a nonprofit organization that produces unique music events, providing opportunities for fans and artists to meet and collaborate in an inspired and creative atmosphere.
Music Masters Collective events give you the opportunity to learn from world-class musicians like Otil Burbridge, Steve Earle, Richard Thompson, former members of the band, the Milk Carton Kids, Nikki Glaspie, the Fab Four, and Sean Colvin, and so many more.
At an event like the Milk Carton Kids Sad Song Summer Camp happening this July, you can expect immersive classes, evenings of entertainment, excellent food, and a space for a lucky group of folks to learn, co-write, workshop, and perform with like-minded peers, all with the guidance of Kenneth Pattengale, Joey Ryan, and some of their favorite songwriters. This all-inclusive week in the Catskill Mountains of upstate New York is guaranteed to be magical. Scholarships are available and spots are extremely limited, so visit www.sadsongsummercamp.com/simple to learn more. That's www.sadsongsummercamp.com/simple. Check it out. Fucking baby screaming in the background, man.
It's a perfect way to open the show.
Hey now, No Simple Road family, what's happening?
Hey now.
How's everybody doing?
Hey, everybody.
What's up?
Let's say hi
We
to
have
our
some
friends.
very
We have friends.
special family in town from Ohio.
Two deadheads from Ohio.
Introduce yourselves,
for sure.
beautiful human beings.
Yeah, say
My
hi.
name is Joe, and live in Cincinnati, Ohio, with my beautiful girlfriend here, Jordyn. And we are out here in Portland hanging out with the No Simple Road family and just
Hell
having a blast.
Right on.
And we're out
And we're
here
not doing anything crazy either. We're literally chilling the whole time.
just going out, shooting the shit.
Before we get
Wait,
off,
hold
wait,
on.
hang on.
Jordyn didn't.
Yes, she
Yeah.
did.
No, she didn't. He kind of said Jordyn.
Oh, okay.
So
Never
she's
mind.
got to
Bruce,
say
shut
her
up.
Yeah,
thing.
what
Oh.
the fuck, Aaron?
Sorry,
Oh,
Jordyn.
see,
Yeah,
she feels
Jordyn.
right at home. This is
Welcome.
perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm Jordyn. I live with my beautiful boyfriend in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Oh, you're both from Cincinnati. No.
Yeah. I actually almost fell for that. I was like, yeah. I just really am happy to be here. So that's that.
We're happy to have you.
So why don't you guys? What were you gonna? Were you
I
gonna
was
get
going to
into
say,
it?
before we get off into having a conversation here, this week's guest is Russ Lawton from the Trey Anastasio band and his new project, Lamp, which is Russ Lawton, Scott Metzger, and Ray Paczkowski from the Trey Anastasio band. And you guys, this is one of those episodes that you just need to like get a warm drink and put your feet up and just hang out and experience the magic that happens in this
Yeah.
conversation.
That's a good picture, like sitting. I
Yeah.
could picture like sitting by the fireplace in
Yep.
your easy chair.
Mhm. But
With your journal, chilling.
as you know, with No Simple Road, we don't do anything normal or the same all the time. And we're hanging out with these two wonderful people that came to see us. So
Yeah, so we're gonna tell you a beautiful, lovely story of how you guys got here.
yeah, tell us how did you end up on our porch,
Oh.
wonderful humans?
So Well, first things first, I was doing a school project, so I had to look up No Simple Road. Basically, I looked up just Grateful Dead, and it popped up, and I just got really hooked on the first episode. And it, like, when you actually think of, like, the Grateful Dead and how you think it's a family, I just started even getting into it. Like, I had no idea what was, like, to happen.
You didn't know it was in store.
I love wordy people. Thank you.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I got my boyfriend into it. We started listening to it together. Almost, we would write sometimes while we would listen, and how things were lining up. And I just finally got the balls.
What do you mean? What's an example of how things would line up? I love these parts.
Well, we were like just talking about fish. I just recently decided that I was like, fuck it, damn it. I guess I like them. I don't know how I fell into this hole, but fuck, I did. And then I listened to an episode, and then, damn it, Mel, she was like, damn. Punch you in the eye. And that's it.
She did listen to that episode.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just like, how do they know? How do they just like also know how to tell you right when you needed to hear that? But it's like, fuck it. Yeah, you like them all. You're not just a deadhead. You don't have to hold it to that standard. You don't need to put yourself in a box if you don't have to.
Yeah.
And then
I love that.
I'm glad that you got that lesson early. It took me 30 years.
Yeah.
I'm very blessed to have resources like this. This is something your generation didn't have.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Not at all.
that's what I'm talking about, like having kids and being so connected like that.
Yeah.
How such a blessing that is.
Yeah.
Well, I get it now because it's so. It's kind of like we were having a discussion with our son about when you have something as your norm, it's very easy to take it for granted. That
Right.
includes your parents. That includes your lovers. That includes your friends.
Your job.
Your
Your life, going to concerts.
everything.
Yeah.
And so the same lesson that we learned with Simon, it's a single personal lesson and also a group lesson that like what we're doing. You said a word, resource. I had never thought of us as a resource, but
Yeah.
looking back at what we've done as a body of work, if you're into this type of music, this is a fantastic resource for you to get to know the people that kick ass on stage and keep you shaking
Right.
your ass.
Well, and also get to know that there's real people in the scene that are just here because we love the music and we love the community and the people that are in
Right.
it.
And we're keeping it going by having you guys, and that's so rad that you. Okay, well, you didn't finish.
Yeah.
You were in the
Sorry,
middle
I
of
guess
it.
I got on a tangent.
No, we
Tangents
are.
are good.
We
This is a
took it.
tangent
We
show.
took the
Yeah,
tangent.
you were talking about you had looked us up because of school, and then you're like, "Damn it, fuckers, I'm hooked." I like,
Yeah.
and then
Well, now I guess my boyfriend here has really helped me just be like, just ask, because they'll tell you no. Like, just ask if we can go see them. We're going to go to Oregon no matter what. So just do it. And I just, like, messaged Mel one day, and she was just like, yeah, of course. Like, I would love to see you. Please.
And now here we are.
And now here we are.
Mm-hmm. I would, and I am loving seeing you.
Oh, this has already
I
been so
am.
amazing. I've already cried twice.
Both of you.
well,
Yeah.
then tell us now. You started to tell me because I just came home from work. So you guys left there. You're on a. This is like a precursor to something you're
Yes.
getting ready to do.
Yes,
You're
you
taking this is
explained
like a pre-run
Yes,
of getting
a
ready to
tri- a
take off around the
trial.
country.
We're about to be
7-day
going
free
out on the
trial.
road in a van.
Wow.
And this is a decision we came to within the last month.
Oh.
I was had a situation that was tying me to Cincinnati, and through a trip realized that it was I was putting a lot of eggs in one basket, and I had a lot of things that I needed to still explore.
How old are you, Joe?
26.
Yeah.
And
That's definitely a
so it was just
healthy. thought.
yeah, the time that this just needed to happen. And we had been talking about traveling to follow fish around next summer anyway, selling
Damn it.
art. And we were just like, fuck it, let's do this. And so when our lease is up in March, we're going to be hitting the road in a van, and this was just a test to see if we can spend all this time together in a car.
That's very smart.
And
we
I fucking
drove-
love you.
Oh,
Fucking
That's
love
rad.
you too, baby.
that's rad.
Oh man.
We drove-
These two.
That's a
you're
big
aw-
deal
up
to
and
be
you're
able to
awesome.
say after being on the road for as long
Yeah,
as
I
you
could
have
be
been.
like, I kind of like you still.
Yeah.
I do.
With
I
the
do.
kind of cracky fake smile.
Right. The first day we drove 17 hours and then slept in a Walmart parking lot. And I feel like if you can do that, then
You can do anything.
Well,
you can do anything.
it can
if you
be
could do that,
romantic.
you gotta push the limit and do that after a 3-night run.
Right.
Spun.
That's funny how
Exactly.
Walmart parking lots are always like a go-to because
Mhm.
you
You know
can
what?
go.
There were so many RVs.
Stay there.
Yep.
Yeah.
The thing
Yeah.
is everybody bags on Walmart, but they're there when you need them.
They
No.
are.
No, baby.
don't
The
spend
parking
money.
lot is there when you
Right,
need it.
right.
But if it wasn't for Walmart, they wouldn't need that parking lot. I'm just saying.
Okay.
You need diapers sometimes. You need certain things.
All
I
right.
know. I thought
I'm
about
not.
it.
This is not an infomercial from Walmart. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Okay, so all right,
It's
Back
just
to the
truth.
story.
yeah, it's 17
Sorry.
hours.
Yeah,
Walmart
17
parking lot.
hours.
Dang.
The first day, then the second day we did 12 hours, but then we got to camp in Boise National Forest.
And
Whoa.
Damn, that was so beautiful.
So
beautiful.
fucking beautiful. When we got there, and I was just like in a shit mood. We had no service, and I had been
Not because we didn't have service.
right. That was like kind of the last straw of like a full day of just being on the fucking road again.
Yes.
And
It's fun until you do it.
right, exactly.
Right.
I had
It's a
been,
romantic thought.
right.
Right.
I had been like keeping my mom in the update on what we were doing,
Yeah.
and when we didn't have service, I was like, "Oh no, she's gonna fucking freak out, think I'm dead or something." But then, put my boots on, and we went and took a nice little hike, smoked a little weed, and I sat right by this fast-moving river with all these rapids, and I just sat there, stood on this rock, and like took it all in, the fucking mountains and the trees and this
I got
nice.
the most amazing picture. I was like, I was just standing behind him, and I just got to capture that moment.
Oh, of him doing it.
Aw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was just like, he didn't like. I told him I was going to do it, but like he didn't know when I was going to do it. You know.
Yeah.
And he was just like, just literally
Enjoying that
taking
moment.
in. And it was really cool.
So I feel like
Those are, wait a minute. Those are very special things when somebody is a witness to a pinnacle moment.
like that picture hanging in the living room.
Yes. Those rooftop moments, those
Mhm.
like army, rocky arm, not army, I don't know why I said army, but rocky arms, you know,
Right.
up the, it's rad.
I feel
you
like
should frame that pic.
we had.
Yes.
I got to
We
tell you
just
guys
have
something.
frames.
We were talking earlier about, me and Joe were talking about when Jordyn got turned on and how he had been trying to get her turned on to the dead and fish and the whole scene, and it just wasn't happening, and it was because of expectation.
yes,
And how
so much.
yeah, when you have expectations for somebody, most of the time you're going to disappoint yourself, and the reason that you're disappointed is not because that person didn't measure up, it's because you had an expectation. It's your fault, not theirs. But
Right.
my point is, going on the road is the exact same thing. When you guys finally hit the road, go with no expectation. Then you
Right.
cannot be let down by whatever happens. Just go
Go.
knowing that
Go
you're
to
going
go.
to go drive a car.
Right.
That's it. And
I-
whatever happens, man.
Yep.
That's so true.
And that's going to be the best part too. The shit that isn't even don't think is supposed to happen, but then does and leads to the next thing.
Well, and
Right.
this is a shout out to Erica and Tim from Thriving in Tie-Dye, because they were some listeners that came and around their little cross country trip and visited us, and she went home after she left here, not saying because of us, but like through her trip and everything that she's gone through, making jewelry and tie-dye and just, you know, being a little entrepreneur and or renewed spirit. And sometimes you need to move in order to get those feelings and those energetic awakenings and those, you know, see things you've never seen, be inspired in a way that you never thought. Like staring a mountain in the face when you're never around them, it's a majestic thing.
Yes.
It's like, look at this fucking rock. Where did it come from? How did it poke out of this? Like, where did it come from? And how is it so big? And it's amazing. So I highly encourage you to explore. And on the heels of what Aaron said, no expectations. just you're on an adventure. Like you took like a little knapsack. You didn't even know if you're going to be gone for dinner or not. You're just going, and then it can be so innocent and fun and like more of something to deflate you and relax you as opposed to something that like stirs you up. I think we've all had enough of stirring.
Yeah.
Right now.
Well, right.
Yeah, seriously.
But
really,
they're doing it in a way too. It's really encouraging. We talk about like generations and stuff. It was like Tim and Erica when they came. I've heard people say over the years, especially as we're getting on, it's like, well, you can't do that anymore. You know, you can't really just take off and follow bands around the country. Like, well, you can't follow Grateful Dead anymore and stuff. But now you can follow so many different bands from city to city.
Playing ping pong tour, Andy Frasco tour,
or just whatever music they can get their hands on.
It's awesome to see now, like the younger generation carrying that on and taking off. And Tim and Erica, kind of like you guys, they just decided one day they're like, you know what? Like they had good jobs, they had stuff going on, but they're like, let's do this and just doing it. Same thing like us moving up. You just got to do it. That thing, and if it's scary, it's even Mr. better.
Nike. Yeah,
and if it's scary, that's great. It's like that's scary picking up and just saying, you know what, fuck it. But you got to do that, and the adventure will be amazing.
That's one thing about pre-COVID and now. Even Garcia said this. He said that like Following the Dead was the last great American adventure for somebody in their 20s, 30s, whatever.
Yeah.
That you used to be able to ride the rails. You could hobo it. You could jump on trains. You could hitchhike. And you couldn't do that anymore. You can't do that safely now. But you can do what you guys are doing.
Well, but you want to know what's rad? Like that, remember that guy that did Craigslist, and he like traveled there's modern times we have to adapt. There's ways to be a nomad and to do it responsibly.
Yes, exactly.
You know,
yes.
and to still have that sense of adventure.
It's about research and resources.
Yes.
And being honest and open and talking and constantly having it being a conversation constantly brings up questions and answers.
Well, so you know where you're at.
Yeah.
Right.
If you're not having conversations, how can you know where your partner's at?
I'm curious, Joe, how did you get turned on to the Dead?
For me, my senior year of high school, I had this library that was by my house, and it had a pretty extensive CD collection that you could borrow from. And so I would go there and search through the bins, and would take home maybe 20 to 25 at a time, just stack up on all
your
the
limit.
shit I found.
I worked at a library. That's like your limit. Like that's all you can take, Joe.
Right. They definitely had to limit me, right? Or I would have taken the whole thing at once. But like I found so many bands that way. I found Tool, Grateful Dead, Fish, Sublime, all kinds of bands that way. And then like it was Without a Net. That is the disc that they had there. And so I listened to it, and I just did not understand it at the time. I had never drank. I'd never done any drugs. And it just, like, didn't speak to me at all. And I just was like, this is like fucking hillbilly country music. Like, how are people into this at all? Like, I just didn't get it. And my mind at the time refused to accept that this could be, like, a thing at all. Like, just not understanding. And then I went off to college at Miami University in Oxford, Ohio. And there's this shop there called Bagel and Deli Shop. And it's a head who was on tour from like the mid-'60s until I think it was 72 or 73. And he dropped out of tour, and he had been making his way selling bagel sandwiches. And so he went to Oxford and opened up this bagel shop. And my mom went to school there, so ever since I was a kid, I had seen the Dancing Bears because they use it on their merchandise and shit. And so then, like, going there, my first night going uptown or whatever, drinking with all these new people I had just met that, like, coming from my very sheltered childhood, like, coming into these new experiences all at once was just, like, a lot. And I can remember walking into fucking Bagel and Deli and seeing the Bears, and then remembering that I had listened to that Without a Net CD, and like, all right, maybe I need maybe I need to give this another chance. And by then I had tried weed for the first time. And was
Tried
like,
weed.
Yeah. And like had this like tiny window open for myself. And then listening to it again after that, it like slowly inched its way in. And then I graduated in 2016, and Dead & Company was playing at Riverbend in Cincinnati. And a good friend of mine from college was like, you have to come with me. And I was like, $60 for a lawn ticket? Like, I don't know. Like, I like the Dead, but I don't know. And then
I don't know about $60 like.
right. And then my grandma happened to send me some money.
What?
Like a couple days later.
For the concert?
No, just randomly.
Yes.
Like Valentine's Day, right?
Yeah,
Oh
that's
my
right. It was
But
Valentine's
yes,
Day.
it
She happened to
was.
give me some money. And
Now you have to go.
I was like, shit, I gotta go now.
I wish you could
And
see the face
so
that he just made.
it was very cute.
then I went and like, I didn't even know half the songs, but I felt like this very visceral, real presence that even though I didn't know really what was going on, that it like planted this very small seed. Then I was like, oh, well, now I need to know these songs if I'm going to see them again. So then that was that summer of 2016 was the plunge in, and been drowning ever since.
So wait, hold on.
How does this song go?
Right, exactly.
Does your grandma know that she sent you to your first Dead show?
She does not, and I'm not sure if
Yeah,
she knew she
don't
would
tell
approve,
Granny.
but
Don't tell
that's okay.
Granny.
She doesn't need to know.
Don't tell me.
This granny approves.
Yeah. And she blows out a bong hit.
Right.
I'm still holding it in.
I still want to show your mom this.
You know, that is it never ceases to amaze me, obviously, from listening to the first episode. When I started doing this, like my idea was to hear about people's turn on moments, and it became whatever. But that really does fascinate me. That aha moment is a trippy thing because it was such a important
Pivotal
and
time.
pivotal moment in my life. And I'm the kind of person that, like, I want to know why that happened. And I also wanted to know how it happened. Like, that was 40% of what made me drop everything and go on tour, was like, I need to know how and why that is a thing. And I thought, like, in my naive first days of the hardest days life, like, I thought that it was just me. I really did. I thought, like, everybody else gets this 100% and nobody's ever gone through this, what I'm going through, and why is this just me? And then over the years found out, oh, that's a thing.
Right.
And it happens to all of us at some point.
At
Yep.
some point, yeah.
And it's fascinating, man, that magic recreates itself over and over through circumstance in other people's lives, and it manifests the same way.
That's so true.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's the same. Like, this, my grandma didn't send me $60, but I was the same. Like, this fucking country band that plays for 45 minute songs. Who wants to hear that shit? Like, gross, boring. And then I went to a show and I was like, oh shit.
Yep.
Like,
It's about timing.
is that it?
It's about the time, because I knew those same songs too. And the Grateful Dead did a lot of redos of Motown and just other kinds of songs too that I'd known. So it strikes you a certain way at a certain time. It's like smelling the jasmine in the breeze. You can't always smell it, but when you do, it is noticeable and it stops you in
Darwin
your
didn't
tracks.
like that metaphor.
You hate that one? All right. It is like, no. Darwin, I didn't have another one. That was it.
But you know,
But it's just something that stops you in your tracks, you know? And you can hear it and hear it and hear it, but then you hear it.
I can say that that was the first experience I had after leaving this bubble of college that I had been in for 4 years, where I was able to really do anything that I wanted and not have any repercussions at all, because It was just
It was
You're
your
own
time.
man.
my time.
Yeah.
It was my time to explore the world that I
To
had
divvy
been
out as you felt necessary.
Yeah.
And here's the trip. It is forever your time now.
That is
Yes,
so
That
it
true.
shit doesn't
is.
end, man.
Yes.
It
That is so
doesn't.
true.
It's still my time. I'm still figuring it out. I don't fucking know.
And there's like constant rebirths too.
Yeah.
Like
That
some
is so
shows
true.
that just blow your mind, and then like going to Fish and to
That's
other,
what I was
they
going to
go
say.
from there that we opened up to because of the Grateful Dead.
That's the misconception, Jordyn. We were talking about that, like that whole thing of like when we went to the Gorge Fish and me and Mel had that experience, and I came back and we recorded that podcast. Like
Right.
that badge of Deadhead, it kept me in a box for a really long time of experiencing other music. And I wouldn't. It didn't. It would, because I was looking for that same taste,
Right.
that same flavor,
Right.
and I didn't realize that there's an entire spice cabinet.
Right. Exactly. It's like learning how to use garlic powder for
This is the only seasoning I like. Get away. Get away.
It was hard because,
So-
like with me and Apple, what I love about Apple so much. We'll hear about Jordyn in a second.
Yeah,
But what I love
right,
about
right.
Apple is that him and I have such musical similarities. Where Aaron and I just Aaron's not about it at all. But Aaron's coming around. You're definitely coming around. But pre this turn on moment, pre Fish moment, whatever. When sometimes you want to express yourself through music, and so when somebody can understand that or speak to you in that language, that is a fun way to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
I love
And
that.
to not have that sucks.
I have a poem that sounds, well, that just sounded so like Indian. I have a poem. But that, speaking of like music, I had like wrote it in the beginning because Joe didn't know how to use his words as in the best way possible. And I was just like, music was his words. Like, if you learn how to speak it, it started making me like, I started to have to listen.
Yes.
Because like I knew he was communicating to me without me. If I didn't pick that up, he knew that it was.
That was his way of
That was it.
communicating.
Yes.
And you had to understand, learn the language.
Yeah, I had to learn the language, and then I think truly that is where it opened.
I saw
Wow.
in the comments. So Trey just came out with that new album,
Right.
and I was reading the comments when he first put out the video for "And Fly Away." I think that's the name of the song.
Yeah.
And somebody was like, "I just don't get it. I'm a deadhead. Fish is just silly, and the jams are fine, but the lyrics aren't deep, and I just don't get it." And I was gonna comment back, and I stopped myself, and I was like, "Okay, first of all, that was you,
Mm-hmm.
all right."
Yeah.
And then if somebody had commented in some random thread on Instagram, would that have done anything for me? No. So keep your mouth shut, Aaron. But it made me realize, like, that's a thing. That inability to taste other spices is also a thing, just like the turn-on moment. And that's okay.
Yeah.
It really is. That's cool. It's fine. It takes all kinds.
Well,
And it's like Mel said, it's timing too. Like, it's not that person's time. It took us a long time. We kick ourselves not as much now, but it took us a long time to get into Fish and other bands. And then all of a sudden it was like,
last on my radar.
what was I thinking? I used to think that. We both did. Like Fish is they're fun. Their jams are awesome. They're silly though. I don't quite get them.
It's some of the deepest music I've ever
Right.
listened
You're
to.
supposed to get
Exactly.
things when you get it.
You do
It's
get-
music that makes me laugh. And
Yeah.
and also make me cry at
Yeah.
the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For sure. And
It
it's
pulls.
just like coming from a drum background, fucking Fish is
Oh my
like-
God.
Oh,
I was at Pittsburgh this last fall tour, and I was able to go at the very last second thanks to my boss like switching shifts with me. And so like during that shift, bought the ticket, left work, drove out, and my spot was right behind Fishman, like behind him. And I just got a fucking 3-hour drum clinic.
Oh, that's
Oh
awesome.
my
Oh,
gosh.
Watching the way he uses his motions.
Whoa.
And fuck, man, he is just like, it was crazy. And then a couple weeks after that, I had this crazy show with the band I was playing in at the time, and just having that experience of being able to watch this fucking master sensei drummer who's been doing this thing for so long and just has everything. He's obviously, no one's perfect, but from like someone who is, he's on like this crazy level, and
You
from
can always learn, man.
exactly, yeah, and fuck, so
Yeah. And
Wow.
think about this, like a guy like Trey not only has attracted Fishman into his orbit, or the other way around, but also like the guy that
Mutual.
everybody's waiting to hear the interview for, Russ Lawton, like that kind of talent twice to surround one guitar player, like
Right.
what the hell? How does that happen? Like we were saying earlier about the new album, with the lyrics that are on that thing, like how does somebody tap into sing the collective consciousness in a moment? How does that happen? Or like a guy like Russ writing the groove to Gotta Jaboo. Like, how does that shit happen, man?
I don't know, but I need to know.
I don't know if it's, I guess it's life doing what it does to you, and you taking your time, talent, energy, and creativity and funneling your experience into your craft, right?
Right.
I think if you think about what Trey's been doing since Fare Thee Well, is he's been now basically touring 24/7 with whatever project he feels like going out on the road with. And so then you take all that energy that's now built up for 4 years and you put it in a tiny apartment in New York, and that's what happens.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
And the same thing with Lamp. Like, it didn't happen during quarantine, but
They
Yeah,
were
like
able-
Scott said, yeah, they recorded last May.
yeah, but still, that I think about the way the universe works and all the intention that went into creating this album, right? And then all the artists' intention are, well, we're going to release this album and we're all so busy with our other projects. How are we going to get on the road to support this thing? And we'll figure it out. And they record it, and then this quarantine happens, and it's the exact medicine that we all need while quarantine is
Right.
happening. Like you put on that album, we were just put it on a little bit
And we were
before,
grooving.
and
Yeah,
that was just
it's
so
super
good.
groovy, man.
You know, that's one thing we talked about. It's one thing I love about this community, the jam band, the Dead community, and everything, because we grew up on like rock. You never know what you're going to get at a show. Any of these bands we love, you never know if Derek Trucks is going to pop up on stage. You go to a show and there could be a surprise guest that you never know about. That didn't happen like back in the 80s. It was, I'm going to see Iron Maiden, and Rob Halford from Judas Priest jumped up on stage. You know, now it's, so you never know what you're going to get. And there's so many collaborations, all of them just doing their side projects together. There's never a dull moment. Never.
Because there's like starting to end with genres.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Genre
lines
has-
are completely not even
Yes.
blurred. They're like gone when
Which
it comes
is
to
a
that.
really good thing in one sense, and it leaves us the challenge of how to interpret things, how to explain something to somebody.
By how it makes you feel,
That's
right?
a good way.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think that. Okay,
But if
if I said I listen to Billy Strings and it's some ripping bluegrass music, right? And you don't like bluegrass, not or haven't had experience with it, you're not going to
You're
give
gonna
a
be
shit
turned
about
off
it.
Right.
almost immediately. Like, I
But
don't listen to bluegrass.
if I go, I listened to this new cat Billy Strings and I had chills the entire time that I was listening to this album, you're going to want to hear that. Do you know what I
Yeah.
So it's genre, as we heard from our friend Reed, is
we
all
love
about
you, Reed, if you're listening.
is all about selling albums.
I was just going to say that we had just recently listened to that episode. That's so funny.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
His
I-
Beethoven shit was
Oh
like,
my.
Oh,
That dude is a Buddha.
Crazy
Teacher.
And
fucking
he's got,
shit.
dude, his eyes are like, I don't know if I said that, but he
You did.
reminds me of a panda bear.
He's
Oh, you may not have
such a
said that, but he was just like so in the moment. Like
Oh, I
every
just
conversation
love
was like the
him.
only thing that was the most important thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
such an
Yeah.
attentive like when he was looking at like wow, he's really listening.
Yeah.
he's into
Put you
this.
in perspective, like I've been trying so much, just putting a little bit more effort into like actively listening. It's actually a lot harder than I thought it was gonna
Well,
be.
it's active.
It's hard. Active listening is hard.
Sometimes like in just shutting the fuck up for once.
That's hard to do too. The world's distracting nowadays. We live in a
Yeah.
world where it's so on to the shinies. What's that? Oh, I got so many
Yes.
things to do. What time is it?
My
yeah,
Fitbit
it's
just
hard.
beeped. I gotta go.
Yeah, it's hard to turn all
I
that off and focus
know.
on that one thing in front of you.
Well,
It
that's
is.
that's the beauty of conversation, my friend.
That's why
Yeah.
I'm grateful for this right now.
That's right.
Me
For sure.
fucking too.
Yeah.
I mean, and then seeing you walk up with that Guns N' Roses shirt.
Yeah, rocking the GNR.
I mean, that's my jam. You know, that's how I got into this whole scene. I would say through
Grunge.
grunge.
I don't know if Guns N' Roses was considered grunge.
No,
what
that's not
were
grunge.
they? They
Huh?
kind of were
Guns
like
N' Roses.
soft
That was hair
metal,
metal.
and
hair
they
metal.
were a little before grunge too.
Yeah,
but that,
like
yeah,
right
no,
on the
they're
precipice.
rocking.
Well,
they were
Nirvana. It was like
and they
scooted right
were-
into
I
that.
debated wearing that.
to me.
And then I wanted to wear my No Simple Road shirt, but I didn't want to be that person.
I'm
Well, to me, GNR, they're the ones that came along when like hair rock was at its height with like a lot of the
It
hair
was
rock
just
bands,
Axl
Poison,
Rose.
and they came in with Slash and all that. And they're still kind of a hair band in a way, but they came in just like kicked it in the teeth. Like this isn't fucking love ballads and this and that. They came and ripped it with their
Yeah.
first album, and then went on to. I mean, they have a place in history.
Hell yeah.
Axl Rose has a place always.
Yeah.
So,
Sweet
All right.
child.
so you guys are in May? Is that what you said?
March.
So we're putting the intention out that by March of next year that there'll be concerts again,
Mhm,
Yes,
that's
please.
and
Yes.
you guys are gonna come back out.
Of
Okay.
course.
All right. Cool.
Of course.
We're gonna come back and see our family.
We need. Yes, you are.
But I want Jordyn to talk about her turn on the bus.
Yeah.
And how that
Oh,
Yeah.
happened, because we need to get the other half of the story.
well, mine's not as like interesting, I think.
Well, we don't know yet.
Well,
It could be more interesting.
D minus. No.
I like to do that though. I'd be like, that's only a 4 stars for Yelp.
come
Sorry.
on.
You can add fluff for effect.
Yeah, we are Yelp reviewers, so be careful.
Okay.
Oh.
I need to breathe. No. Well, I guess in the beginning, I was very much so, I think, in the closet about listening to anything other than musicals for a while.
Okay.
I've always loved concerts, but every time I went to a concert, I would go with somebody who didn't dance.
Oh,
What
that
a
puts a
shame.
kibosh
It's a
on
bummer.
things.
So
Like,
you never got to get loose.
No. And my
Or
very
you didn't
first-
feel like you could, I should say.
Well, I cared so much. When I was a kid, I would dance all the time. I didn't give a shit. Like, fuck it, I'm gonna groove. I'm gonna
Yeah.
groove. But then, like, the older as I got, more people stopped dancing. So then I stopped dancing because I cared so much about what everyone thought, and especially since I'm going with them. So I'm like, I can't be that one, you know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I felt
you
like
can't
that.
be the party starter.
Right. And then Right. I went to our very first date, and we went and saw Twiddle. Like, our
Oh,
very first,
fun.
like,
Oh,
real
yeah.
concert date that we ever had. And
That's
he
a good one.
danced his butt off, and I danced my butt off. And it was so fun to just fucking let go. Nobody
Aw.
gave a shit. I had the most fun, and I was just like, there's so much more to this than I could ever thought. And it's just Twiddle. And
I had a breakdown
Twiddle
moment
is
at
so fun.
at
And I
Love
shouldn't
fucking
say
Twiddle.
they're just Twiddle.
Yeah.
Like, it's
No,
not like
yeah,
that.
they're-
I just mean, like, to, like, getting me to the dead, I didn't even think that was going to be a start.
I got you.
yeah, that was on the same avenue
Yeah.
or anything.
Right.
Like,
And then when I find the love of my life, I want him to think I'm cool. Okay, so
Yes.
then he's listening to this thing, has this cool tattoo on his shoulder. So I'm like, I have to at least pretend I know something. So I put on like the 50th anniversary of something. So it played like all of the recorded hits or whatever, and I was just like slowly every day driving to his house that was like 30 minutes away, listening to them to like get
Familiarize
a feel.
yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I was listening to like Phantom and a lot of musicals, things that he was not interested in. And then I was like, shit, this is like really good. And then we got really stoned, and then I was like, fuck. Damn it.
No, wait, no, I'm curious too about this because I was raised like with my mom and sister, the family I was raised in. Musicals was always part of my life growing up, watching all the Judy Garland stuff.
Yes.
So cute.
I just got I love that kind of stuff. You guys were making fun of like the new movie Judy and like Judy Garland, all that stuff, Showboat, all those movies, Fred
yes.
Astaire, all that. I like grew up on that. Was that part of your childhood?
Of
Is that
course.
why the
Yes, because
Okay.
my mom wanted to be them. So
Okay.
then she like, what do you call it when project something onto you? Like my mom had me like try out for Disney and shit like that because she wanted me to make it.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
She wanted one of us
What-
to make it.
Yes.
If
I
it's
was
not
her.
me, then it's got to be you then.
Right.
And I don't care what anybody says. How are
I know about
musicals
that.
not? When you're growing up, it's so fun to dance and everything.
Right.
And it makes
And
adults
I-
in a good mood. I remember that as a kid. Like, this makes my mom and grandma and everybody so happy.
Yes.
Da, da, da.
It was the
It's
only
just-
time I was
Wow.
confident because I could be someone else.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So
yeah.
would you say that since you've started liking the scene and the community and all that like you feel more comfortable in your own skin?
Well, now I dance as myself.
Oh,
So then yes.
Yeah.
wow.
And I can thank my boyfriend for that. He
Aw.
fucking stands by me every day. I
Thank
have
you, Joe,
so
for
many
helping
things
her with
that-
that. That's
Yes.
a brave, wonderful thing to help somebody through.
Yeah, seeing the person inside the shell and then like
And this
wanting
is-
it to come out and like cultivating that.
Yeah.
Fuck, has it come out?
Yeah.
Good. That shit's been
I-
you've been holding that shit back
I
for
was.
quite some
For
time.
quite some time.
You two are
Look,
so
no-
cute. You
no
guys
time
can't
like the
see the
present.
looks there, but you can hear it in this recording
Yeah.
and stuff. These two, the way they look at each other and say,
Yeah.
"This is it's
It's a
awesome."
Not
special
no
moment.
crying this time.
I'll
crying,
get
you're
there.
crying.
I'll
You're
get
all
there. I'm a
crying.
little tired tonight, but I'll
my
get there.
allergies. Well,
Right?
just look
Yeah,
at you.
exactly.
So for all of you guys out there, like you've heard, if you've listened to the show, that is, you've heard us say, hit us up if you're in the area, like come by the house. We love to entertain, blah, blah, blah. And Jordyn was like, I wonder if they're really just saying that, like, or if they mean it.
Well, I love the just
What
hit
do
them
you
up. They'll
think?
say no.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, we would have said no if we didn't really mean it. And we wouldn't be saying it on the show if we didn't really mean it. Like,
Well, it's not every day that you get a blessing of somebody that
Oh.
appreciates what you're doing. That's not an everyday thing.
and that's
They
what
want to come and express that, and they want to share in what you're doing. That's not an everyday thing.
well, and that's what I
It's
was telling them, that like
special.
talking to Russ Lawton or Scott Metzger or Dave Schools, that's amazing. Like, I love that. But my favorite part of No Simple Road is this. This
Yeah.
right here.
It's always been this for me.
Connection with people and knowing that we're family and
That's
we've
right.
got family all over the country and we're connected by this weird energy that and we feed each other's lives, like you were saying. There's synchronicities that happen when you're listening to the show, and believe it
They
or
happen
not,
when
they
we're
happen,
making the show.
they
which
happen
is
for
our
us
life.
with the stuff that you guys send in, and it's reciprocal, man. So we're just really happy you guys are here.
Yeah.
We should eat
Yeah.
We're
pizza.
happy to be here.
Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
we are.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we should get to the business.
Let's do the business.
And
Follow
get
us
pizza.
on Instagram at No Simple Road. Follow us on Facebook at No Simple Road if you like doing Facebook and that's your thing. I'm not going to judge you. The No Simple Road family has a Facebook group, and you are welcome to go join that. Go to www.nosimpleroad.com, and you can sign up for the newsletter there. You can also get No Simple Road merch. and there is a logo change getting ready to happen, and some new music getting ready to happen.
Aaron's been working on this for a bit.
And
Aaron's
that's coming up.
revamping No Simple Road.
Also, we want to thank.
The tepid line.
Hang on, man. I'm remiss. We have
Before
2
we-
new Patreon
Oh,
subscribers.
you know what?
What? Chicken butt.
Thank you.
No, come on, fill it up.
I was just going to say that I'm really grateful for you guys, and I want you guys to do the outro into this. Like, I want you to say something before we wrap it up.
Is this you? Did you sign up
it
on
was
Patreon?
It's me.
Oh,
We
okay,
have-
this is a first.
Okay, we have a Chan donator in the house.
Well, first of all, we
Whoa.
want to thank Jordyn R.
Whoop-de-woo! Jordyn
I
R.
was
Jordyn, we speak your name.
We speak your name. And then we also want to thank Carrie D.
Carrie.
Carrie D. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie.
And if you're out there
Carries
and you're
have
going,
been nothing but good to us.
if you're going like, what's Patreon? Patreon is how No Simple Road pays the bills.
Yeah.
That is how we
These
are able to
fancy mics.
bring you all the shows and the stuff and the things and the whatnots and the, you know what I'm saying. Go to patreon.com/No Simple Road and sign up. You can sign up for $1. You could sign up for $10.
And it's fun.
And it's fun. And if you sign up for, there's different tiers. One of the tiers has a personalized collage made by Mel
And
as
they
a gift.
listen, I'm not gonna lie, they do take a long time to make, but I'm thinking about you. It has to come to me. And when you get it, just know that I put so much love into it. And sometimes it can be a collage, sometimes it can be something that I
She'd
make
be
up.
working feverishly like a demon down in the
Sometimes
basement.
I won't
with
touch
shit
it for
flying
a
all over
day.
the place.
I kind of do that.
Yeah,
My shit's
it's-
spread
it's-
everywhere.
I'm not making that up.
Yeah, she's
But
got a whole
yeah,
spot
I
for
have fun doing it, and I every time we go to Cody's house, I look at his collage, and I love it. It's like a baby that I'm proud of.
Aw.
You know.
So that's patreon.com/No Simple Road. What were you going to say, Apple?
I was going to say that we got a new review.
Yay!
What?
Apple,
Yay!
So on July 30th from No Drog 92, longtime listener, first time review. Hey there, NSR fam. Just wanted to pop in here in late July and leave some love.
Aw.
Got turned on to the show a couple years ago when I was
Hell
living
yeah.
in Pittsburgh.
What?
My buddy Ernie, thanks Web Dog, and I have been listening ever since.
Ernie, shout
I'm
out.
now writing in from North Portland, where,
Oh, hey.
I'm
PDX.
listening to the most recent episode with my partner in boogieing and in life. Listening to the show is part of our routine. Has turned us on to new artists and has given us a constant in these strange times. Awesome, man. Keep up the good work and take time to take care of yourselves. Thank you, brother.
Aw.
Maybe
Thanks
we
for
will
the reminder.
Maybe we will catch you at the next Cat show.
Aw.
Wonder Ballroom.
Yes.
10/17/2019 was sick.
Yes, it was.
When the shows come back. Thanks again, Gordon.
Right on,
Aw,
Gordon.
Thank you, Gordon.
Thank you for
Gordon.
that. That was a little.
And if you
freaking
hear
heart
this
hug.
and you live in, I don't know if that means you live in North Portland or you're visiting, hit us up.
Hit us up.
Hit us up. Yeah.
It works.
It does. All right, you guys, we're going to get you the interview with Russ Lawton. We love you guys. We love the No Simple Road family.
Yeah.
All right? That's all I got to say. So,
Hold on.
What?
I wanted them to say
Oh,
something
yeah,
on the way
without
out.
further ado and all that.
Well,
We'll do
Okay.
the without. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. What did you have in
yeah,
mind?
what I had in mind was I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew how much we appreciate you, how much we love you. Glad you're here, and as far as like whatever your expectation or was the next year, whatever was the nervousness, any of it, I hope all that's put to bed and that you just feel like you're home.
You're
for
home
a
with your
little bit.
family.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm.
I truly do feel like we were talking about this while everyone was inside. We just had like a second together, and I was like, I was so nervous, like pulling up to the cul-de-sac, and I was like, fuck, I have to call her. Like, I have to do this. And then I see her little head like pop up around the corner, and I just like took a breath, and I was like, fuck, it's just Mel.
Good.
I've been really
Good.
I've been really connecting with this idea lately that I heard this from a book I read called The Four Agreements, and that
yes.
basically the mind's purpose is to dream, and that we set these parameters that we have and what we perceive to be reality because our brain is awake. And then when our brain is sleeping, then the dreams we have don't have these boundaries anymore. And I just want to say that being here with this family, with you guys here in this moment, is an incredible part of the dream.
Oh,
Wow. Thank you, Joe.
It is for me too.
Yeah, us
Believe
too,
it or
man.
not,
Believe
man. It's the,
big time.
Oh.
especially right now. Especially right now, you guys. This is like more than what we could ever ask for.
I was thinking when I was driving home from the eye doctor, and I knew you guys were going to be here, and I was thinking, it kind of feels normal, like a normal summer because you guys are here. Like the feeling of the musical family coming together and seeing people that we love and having guests at the house and all that. Like, you guys brought that magic with you. So it means a lot to us too, man. It really, really made my day.
Yeah.
All right.
Russ,
Yeah,
we'll get
now.
strange normal
All right.
back.
Without
Russ Lawton.
further ado,
The No Simple Road family,
gives you.
Russ Lawton.
That was slow. Let's do it fast.
I don't even know who
Without further ado, the No Simple Road family gives you
Russ Lawton.
Apple, you don't get any levels. Whatever. Hi, everybody. Hi, Mel. Hi, Dar.
Sorry, I had a burp in my throat right when you said it.
Hi, everybody. I'm froggy.
Hello, everyone.
Darwin had been laying on the couch, and the moment I hit record, he walked over and laid under the table.
He knew it was time.
He knew it was
Hey.
time to come
He's
be
going to
on
hold
No
down
Simple
the
Road.
foundation there.
Whoa. Hold up.
There he goes.
Oh, okay.
He gets all squinched up under the table, puts his neck like against the crossbar. He always looks so uncomfortable, but it's not.
Whoa. What's that?
It's a telephone.
What's it doing? It's calling Russ Lawton from Trey Anastasio band in Soule, Monde.
Hello.
Russ, how you doing, man?
Hey, how you doing? Hey, I just I went on, but it just saw me.
All right. This is Aaron.
Not good. No.
And we also have two more here. Let me have them introduce themselves.
Hi, Russ. This is Mel. Welcome to No Simple Road.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. So, do you think we need? I'm just trying to get on. Is this a conference call or is there like a? I'm so
Actually,
used to the Zoom.
No, it's not. Did I send you a Zoom?
No. I'm just. I'm sorry. You know what? It's. I'm so used to that. I thought that's what it was going to be. So
if you want to Zoom, we can. Totally.
No, whatever. I just. I've been doing a bunch of these just from the band and stuff. So, but. Okay. So it's this.
Yeah,
That's fine.
relax, man. It's just a phone
Yeah,
call.
just chill.
Piece of cake.
Yeah, that's all right. No, that's cool. I took a shower and everything, man.
Oh, man, he's
You
all ready to
flossed
go.
and all?
Yeah. We have a board that all of our mics go through. So the phone Bluetooths to the board, and you can hear us,
Okay.
and we can all hear you. It's kind of cool.
And we
That
have
makes
one
sense.
more,
That
Russ.
Yeah, there's one more participant here.
Yeah, no, I'm the third one, co-host of No Simple Road. This is Apple, and thank you for joining us, Russ. We've been grooving out all morning. In fact, just turned off Influence a minute ago. And
Oh, cool.
man, you just said like a Saturday morning soundtrack all morning here has been just bopping around the house and just digging on your guys' stuff.
Well, thank you, man. I'm really proud of that band too. We're very lucky. We just started rehearsing. Hey, look, I'm going to flip you to my Bose phone. So
Okay.
two seconds.
Do your
Let's
thing.
make those. Yeah. All right, you guys there?
Yep.
There we go.
Okay, all right. Much easier.
Yeah.
Much
Bose.
better sounding, hopefully, too.
Yeah, it sounds great.
But-
Yeah. So you said just started rehearsing within the past couple of weeks?
Yeah, with Ray, because he lives pretty close to me, so he's got a garage. So now that the weather's decent, we get in there and do the 6-foot, thing, and wear the mask when I show up. And yeah, well, we got a couple little, we got a live thing. We're going to be hopefully a live, like a video broadcast in a couple of weeks. So we're getting ready for that. That materializes and trying to work on a new record too. So all of the above.
Oh, wow.
And,
That's exciting, man. That's cool. You know, that was one of the things when I was thinking about talking to you is like, I was really wondering how the quarantine has changed what you do for you.
Oh man, it's changed. So, first thing, obviously the gigs. I haven't done a gig since March, middle of March. And luckily Ray and I came off a couple of really successful gigs in Boston and New York. So we went out with a bang, which was,
Heck yeah.
but it's been, I'm basically, like I was telling my friends today, I'm acting like I'm 19 again and living in my parents' house and taking drum lessons and just practicing as many hours a day as I can, or creating and sending Ray beats and just trying to stay in it, and all the little things you wanted to work on but never had the time.
Yeah.
And because there's always like I'm got a recording or there's a tour coming up or we're doing, which is totally what I love doing, but other things get sort of pushed to the side a little bit. So now there's no excuses.
Yeah.
Doing that, but it's really changed it. Yeah.
It's really removed excuses for all of us for life.
Yeah.
It's
crazy. It's really insane.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. Some days it hits me and I'm like, oh my God, what's going on right now? I've never seen anything like it in my life.
Mel and I were talking yesterday on a walk, and a coworker of mine said something that really hit home. Like, I haven't really been able to put the feeling of this thing into words in like a coherent way. And yesterday we were talking, and I asked everybody that I work with, I was like, is everybody else just exhausted all the time? Like, you wake up in the morning, have coffee, and then you're tired. And to the person on the team, everybody was like, yes. And one of my teammates was like, we're grieving every day the loss of our life, the way that our lives were. And it's a reminder every day. So the process starts over again new every day, and it's tough. And I had never thought of it like that.
Yeah, that's really, it's a good way to look at it. It's in a positive way, as much as you're just wondering where the root of the situation is. But that's kind of what I mean. I'm sitting on the couch like, whoa, man, this is like crazy. Because I'm out, I'm always looking at the calendar. I wake up, get down to business, and I'm out of my element and my cycle of what I do every day, other than practicing.
Yeah,
debugging, whatever. But yeah, it is grieving. It's pretty intense, man.
Mm-hmm.
So you were saying that you were about to do a live stream. Have you been finding value in watching other live streams? Like, how has that been for you?
I've been watching some here and there. Yeah, some of my friends have done some, and I've done some just on the Facebook Live thing, just some drum things here and there once in a while. But but we're going to do one in a couple of weeks, and nobody's going to be there except the film crew or something. So it's cool. And I saw that one. Actually, they did one from Tab from last week from Peach Fest from last year. That was inspiring to see again.
Right
that was
on.
cool too.
Is it weird for you to? This may be a dumb question, but is it weird for you to see yourself when you look back at old performances? Are you able to sit and watch it without picking yourself apart?
No. It goes. It's funny. There's a timeline though. Recording, maybe not necessarily the video thing, but there's a certain timeline when I listen to it. If it's like 5-10 years ago, I don't know. Maybe it's not. I don't know what it is. I say that, but I do listen intently. But if it was like last week, like yesterday, we recorded. I'm like, the tempo's a little too fast, or this and that. But the further away it is, the way I think I don't worry about the performance of that actual show. But it's never ending, man.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing too, because you can improve, and not necessarily I could have played fancier or this. It's just like one guy said, it's like minor adjustments, and I always love that because it is like, oh my God, this is awful. It's just like, yeah, why did I just do that? Or that tempo is just a hair too fast, or blah, blah, blah. I mean, you want to enjoy yourself too and listen to it. You gotta give yourself some credit. You know what I mean? It's not like it's totally out the window, but
yeah, I have the same thing when I listen back to old episodes of the podcast. I know what you mean about the timeline thing. Like, there is a progression that happened, and a couple weeks ago, maybe there's a couple critiques, but in the first 10 episodes, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that or said that. So I get it. I see what you mean.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, even when I do these things, I did a Skype one a couple weeks ago. I'm like all excited. I'm like, Russ, calm down, man. That was whatever, but it's like, that's just my personality too. And I'd rather be hyped up than like depressed or something.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
Yeah, when it comes down to it, I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I got energy.
Well, it comes through.
It
comes through in your playing style, man. It really does. Like,
Makes you move.
it does. It makes you move.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you.
And the thing that Apple and I were just saying when we were listening out on the porch is like, you're very tight and snappy. That's the way I would describe your drumming, is just like really tight and snappy. And it made me think, how does a drummer have a sound? Like, I could pick you out of a lineup. You know what I mean?
Man, I just got the chills right there, man. You know why? Because that's the biggest compliment anybody can ever give me or any other drummer, I think.
Really? Why is that?
Oh yeah. Because I mean, it's like you have your voice, and sometimes that's all you have. Because there's so many great musicians out there.
Mm-hmm.
There's some great music. You know, I mean, there is. And I think there's a kid being born right now that in 15 years is just going to be getting all the gigs or something, or whatever, you know. But if you have your sound, it's half the battle, really. Then it's like, you know, you got to know music, whatever, and have good time and this and that. But man, it's like I've worked on my snare sound, drawing on my influences. But somebody else has said that before. I was like, did you play on that movie thing? And I was like, you heard that? And it was like, thank you. Oh, well, I should do that with my daughter. A CD would come in the mail back when people would send CDs if I played on it. And I'd play it. And then after, one song, she'd be like, Dad, is that you? Then when she turned 14, she's like, Dad, is that you? Take it off. No.
That's too much.
But no, thank you, man. That's like, wow, that's like the big,
Cool.
It is very unique, your sound. Like me and Aaron, we were listening this morning too. Your sound scratches a certain like itch that, like, I mean, we all love all drummers, but yours hits something that it's soothing, but also like funky and upbeat at the same
it's
time.
invigorating.
Yeah. It doesn't make
like
you go,
shakes. It shakes something up in you that makes you like, maybe it was like kind of like stagnant or something, and it just like a bell. It
makes you shake your booty. You can't help but move your booty.
It clears the air. That's what it does. It clears the air, and it brings its own like information to the environment. Yeah.
Oh man, you guys are making my day here, man.
Well, no, true. Like, because
seriously.
Us too, because you want to know why right now through the quarantine, all we have is this kind of music to inspire us again. Like, honestly, the only time I've gotten down is if I put on something loud and make it happen myself. So if the music that we're putting on is also making it happen on its own, it's been helping us get through, man. So thank you, Russ, for doing it. Like, I know you're just working your craft, but we just appreciate it so much because it has really helped us through a lot of these few months that seem endless.
Yeah, it does.
Thank
seem
you.
endless.
Well, I mean, I appreciate it too. Everybody knows me from Tab and stuff, but I would say I had a good 25 years before that, and little known bands and this and that, and but mainly just trying to be a creative musician and not be a rock star or anything, but just put my art out there and be part of something that I really believe in. So it's a long road, and you really appreciate it. And I do every day now. I'm up with Ray and we're coming up with some stuff, and it's like, this is man, we're doing our thing still. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not, even like I never really wanted to just like, I want to get that big gig with, what, blah, blah, blah. I always wanted to just be in a band,
Can you bring us to some of your beginnings, Russ, of how, like where it all came together for you, like, discovering the drum and then like how you worked your way up to where you're at? Sure.
I mean, I grew up in this little town outside of it's called New Bedford, Mass. It's if you've ever read Moby Dick, that's where I was born. And then, and they have these drum corps. And I never forget this. I've said this story before. I'm half Portuguese, so I'd go to these Portuguese feasts they'd have every summer, and the parade was coming down the road, and I was getting all emotional. I was like 8 years old trying to figure out what was going on right now. You know what I mean? It's like when you really music, and that's why I play music, because it moves me. And then my second cousin was in one of the drum corps, so I just go hang out up. They used to practice in my house, so I just go hang around up there. And then eventually I bought a little snare drum, and I got involved with that as a drum corps marching. You know, not really. It was a drum and bugle corps, they call it.
Yeah.
So I started with that, and then from there I just got myself a paper route and bought a drum set, and after that was the beginning of the end. You know,
Wow.
then just sort of like playing in bands in high school, and then after high school I just got really serious about it, and I used to drive up outside of Boston once a week and study with this guy that used to teach at Berkeley, and just like try to absorb as much as I could, and really understood how to like really practice. I was getting my butt kicked pretty hard. I was playing with some musicians that are maybe 3-4 years older than me, and guys, we were doing like this funk thing, and then I wasn't there yet, and so I realized I had to do it, had to buckle down, which I already was doing. So that really kind of set me on my way. And then, music takes you places. I moved to Boston, moved to Woodstock, New York to join this, try to go to this place called Creative Music Studios. And there was all these musicians up there. It was incredible. And it was a lesson within itself. And then when I was 22, I joined this band called Zebra with 2 Z's. And it was like this guy from this band called Osabisa. And I was a fan of his music. They were from London, and he married a Vermont musician. Okay. And that's how I got to Vermont.
Oh, wow.
And this band was incredible, man. And that's you talking about your style and your sound. I really by playing that music, it really moved me. And I had to work really hard to get it, because it was called Afrobeat, but it was a little more rocked out than that. But I really said, this is my little angle, in a sense. Not even an angle, I shouldn't say that, but it was really something that my little niche, my flavor. Yeah. And at the time I was really around, I remember this guy, his name is Vinny Colaiuta. He's a very famous drummer now, but he was playing with my best friend, and he was so good even at he was 18 and I was 19. I was like, who is this guy? I went to the rehearsal, and I was like, how am I ever going to be as good as this guy? And once I was even being competitive, but this guy was and it wasn't even that he was playing all those fancy chops. He was playing up that meters, kind of all that funk that we love. He was doing that back then. Yeah. And he could play all the fusion stuff, and he does not, but just to play whatever, I was like, oh my God, how do I do this? And then that kind of right there realized that I need to have my own voice. Keep practicing and keep achieving, but
Fun.
But then I joined that band. Yeah. Long story here. Then
no.
But then just being in original bands, and that band didn't last. We were in LA for a while, and then I came back to Vermont, and we met. My goal was to find some musicians and move to Boston, because there's a rock scene there, and it's not New York or LA, but it's a thriving scene. So I found some guys, and I moved down there, and being on the original music scene, down there, and
right.
just being a creative musician. And that's, like I said, I've always been a band guy. So striving for that.
Which came first? I'm forgetting. Did Soule and Monde come first, or did Tab come first for you?
No, excuse me. Tab came first, and that's how I met Ray.
Okay.
Because he, and then we did a couple tours without Ray. Then he got involved. He was in this band called Viper House in Vermont, and I was still living in Boston and Salem, Mass. And then, and actually, when he lives around here, when we moved back to Vermont about 15 years ago, we built a house outside of Middlebury, my wife and I, and I'd see Ray all the time when we weren't touring. I'm like, Ray, what are you doing, man? Mm-hmm. Let's get together, and I found this little club that had a organ in it, because that thing, the Hammond B3. It's like, hey, I can make it real easy for you, man. Just show up.
Yeah, just come here.
Just come in and let's go make some stuff up. And we got together once, but we started getting together and making these little home recordings, and it's like, wow, this sounds really kind of good. Mm-hmm. So we did once a month, twice a month, and then it just really organically turned into again. It turned into something, and again too, it's the process of the need to be a creative musician, and then for me it was really, and we could collaborate, and I bring in a beat, and oh yeah, well check this out, and it's like, some people, they just look at you sideways if you bring something in or something with him. It was like we really, I felt really fortunate. Now we still do it.
Yeah.
It's so amazing. It's so amazing. I just pinch myself, it's like, 'cause I really get to play me, and I'm really playing me. And the older I get, it's more like I love the challenge of doing sessions and playing a lot of different people, but having your own thing is what's always been my goal,
Well, it's amazing too, the sound, the depth of the sound that comes out of a drummer and a Hammond. I mean, it sounds like a stage full of people. It's amazing what you guys create with just those two instruments. It is so deep.
Yeah, it is amazing. And I don't know if you know, we have a new album coming out with Scott Metzger from Almost Dead.
Oh, right.
J-Rad. Yeah, so it's called Lamp. And adding the guitar, and this is just one thing. We'll do Soule Monday, and we'll still do a Lamp. He's super busy. He's a in-demand guitar player. But we did one show, and it went so well. But at the same time, it's not easy for a guitar player to fit in what we do, not being the right guitar player, you know what I mean, to fit in. And he fit in like a glove, and we went in and recorded this album, and I'm really proud of it. It's going to be out July 10th.
Oh,
and,
right
on
the corner. That's
yeah, but check it out. It again, too, it's really got the moving stuff. I did, too. I sent him some beats. He sent some stuff. Ray had some stuff. It's like another guy to collaborate with.
That's fun.
That's
what it's all about.
Man. Yeah, it's really cool. And because people would fit in, like we're always thinking maybe we get a third guy. You know what I mean? And it was nothing against anybody that's played with us, but it's never really quite been the right. It has to be pretty special.
Yeah.
And bam, we play with my friends, bass players, and that sounds great, but that was not feasible. But yeah, man.
Scott's a monster player. He's just incredibly talented guy, and I could see how that would fit with you guys. Like in listening to the music, Ray is handling that bass line and the melody, but bringing that in to add some flavor up on top, I think would be.
And it's so funny because when I think about the music, it doesn't seem like it needs anything
no,
at all.
Yeah, it's a delicious sauce all by itself.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I don't. I guess I don't disagree. I'm really happy. It's really cool that we're a duo.
We're building on it, so that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's like, well, let's try this. We did one gig up at Nectar's in Burlington. It was like, this is badass, man. And I remember we traded let's make a record then. So that was like December, and then we were going to go in May. He was going to Scott was coming up, and we were trading, just phone messages, and I was almost like, okay, we're booking the studio for 3 days for good money. I'm a little nervous, I want it to be good, So that's like you come away, two grand later, like we got nothing, which I knew we wouldn't, but I mean, it's just whatever. But man, we rehearsed for one day in the studio, and the next day we banged out most of the record. It was like I was like, wow. This is badass, man. You guys are good musicians, man.
Well, you're there too, man.
That's great when the magic surprises even you.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, and I knew it was going to be good, but it's that fine line. You don't want it to be we don't want it to be too traditional, like a jazz trio. Nothing against it. I love it and listen to that style a lot and love it. But we're looking for, again, too, your own sound. And I mean, Ray certainly has it too,
Oh, yeah.
And so does Scott. He's unbelievable, that guy. I mean, I just listen to what he does sometimes. I'm like, how do you do that, man? It's just so unique. I never go like, oh, that's so cliche or something,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's certain players that are like that are just like innovation falls out of their fingertips somehow, and you just watch them and your jaw drops every time. And he's definitely one of them for sure.
Yeah. And it's innovative, and it's not chops. It's not like, you know what I mean? It's not like, okay, I've worked on this, or like we used to, my good friend, Squid bass player, a friend of mine would always say, the guy's running scales all the time,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's just pure music. It's just pure. Tony, I mean, anybody in Tab, I feel that way about. It's like, Tony, I've known Tony for years. It's just like, oh my God, we started playing the Tab. It's like, how come we haven't played sooner? It just feels so good. We've just been friends,
Yeah. And there's something special too about the Fish community that it's
yeah. Oh yeah.
It's insane. So do you see that when you play out with Ray, and do you see those same folks at the shows following you guys around, or is it a different crowd?
It depends where we are. Like, we play New York, and we've been having some really good shows, and I see a lot of the people that are Fish fans or Tab fans too, or just, you know what it is too? It's like I would say, like, there's people that if they like Tab, we're a little more of a quieter taste with no vocals, you know, it's instrumental. They're the next level of music fans. If that, you know what I mean?
That makes sense.
I mean, not that when you listen to Fish, there's some serious, you know, not that we're, you know, I don't know if I'm explaining myself.
You got it. No. It makes sense.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like some people, they go for the party, and some people, like, they're listening to Jimmy Smith too, or they're listening to jazz records, or, you know, whatever. They get a depth in their catalog of records or whatever. But I don't know if that, you know. But
it makes sense.
But they come out, you know. They definitely. What I would say, like, you know, we're not going to play that Got a Jaboo style, which I love, you know. But I mean, it's like
I love that too.
Yeah, you know, I'm not going to get to this, but that's not what we do, you know, and you know, whatever.
So, what do you bring when you play with the Trey Anastasio band? Like, what would you say is like your flavor and what your style that you're bringing to that specific, you know, band?
Well, I mean, fortunately, some of the beginnings was Jaboo, and all those songs are like my beats, you know, First Tube, Sand. So that was a real spark that got me the gig. I like to believe, you know, like the chemistry between all three of us. We first toured as a trio, and then of course Trey ran with it. We just give him some grooves, and he just played some badass tunes that we still play 20 years later. You know what I mean? Yeah. But so you take my style and then you put it into the other songs that you write that I love. I'm a big fan of his songwriting and his whole guitar playing. You know, he's so musical, you know. But so, like, I don't know, like somebody said, you definitely got your stamp in that band, and I feel very fortunate that I have that. But my style fits. I mean, the band or whatever.
Your own style. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you don't have to like form or morph into anything. You're hired for that because of you.
Yeah, I think so. You know, I'm very humble about all that because there's some great musicians that could cover the gig. But I guess I always think about, like, I remember hearing stories like, you know, somebody like Aerosmith, they tried to replace their drummer a couple of times and they couldn't do it because his style just fit the band. I mean, I could be replaced, but you know what I mean? It's like I like to believe I have a little bit of that in there that we got a little bit of a sound. Like, I know we did that Peach Fest thing. Susan Tedeschi, she's such a sweetheart. I was talking to her, and she looked at me and Tony goes, "You guys got a sound, man." You know what I mean? It's like, that's what it is. It comes down to the sound. Or what's that guy, Melvin
Seals?
That does that. Melvin Seals that does he does the Dead thing. We did this little gig together with him, and he goes, "You guys got something going on over there." to me, Tony, and I was like, "Thank you. That's all." Like, you guys just said I got a sound. That's all you have to say. You don't have to say I play fast or I got a lot of chops. Just give me a sound.
I never thought.
So
that's
how I like to, you know.
Ever.
That's kind of how I feel about, you know, with Tab. I put, like, somebody said, I got my little stamp in there, my little signature, and it works for a lot of stuff. And I'm very, very happy, very lucky about that, you know.
Yeah.
Because when we first started playing, you know, he liked what I did, you know.
There's something special about that band and the magic that it creates. We saw you guys in Vegas. I think it was 2015, maybe. And
okay, yep.
That show was life altering for me. It was amazing. And
wow.
Yeah, for real. And seeing you guys, so having seen Fish and then seeing that, it's a progression, kind of what you're saying, like next level of music and bringing the groove a little deeper and different. And I really appreciated that. That was the thing that stuck with me at the end of that night, was walking out of there, was that it was the same feeling, but it was a different groove. You know what I mean? Like, it was just a different thing.
Yeah. We just coming from a different, and I love those guys. Ben Johnson's like an amazing drummer, and both the rhythm section and Mike. They got a same thing. I remember one night I was playing some gigs somewhere, and they were playing Fish way in the background. Me and the bass player, I was playing with Aaron. It was like, we're like, wow, listen to that, man. It was like we just grooving on what those guys are doing. It was deep, but yeah, everybody's got their sound. It's back to the sound, you know. I don't know, man.
Yeah, and when you sit down with Ray to write, when you're not having quarantine get in the way of hanging out together, like one of the things that gets me about your thing that you guys do together is it's so, at least for the untrained ear, for the non-musician, I can't figure out how you play the same thing twice. It doesn't make sense to me. I could see how that would come out of just sitting down and jamming together, but then to be able to recreate it again
like
later,
improv all the time.
How does that happen?
Oh, I mean, some of the songs that we do. You mean between him and I, or yeah. Well, we start with a bass, and I'm a song guy. I write a little bit, and I've always been around in bands. So we try to get to some form of a song. You know what I mean? Like even like yesterday, we were working on a new thing. Okay, we get the form, and we open it up in the middle, or maybe some days it'll really take a left turn. You know what I mean? So it's open to interpretation. But like if you said, you listen to like Influence, like that's always going to start that way, and it's going to go through those couple of sections. But so it's still really a song. It's not like we're just totally improvising, but it goes some places, and once in a while, I'll be like, whoa,
how do we get here?
Even on that record, there was a mistake. Not a mistake, but I went to the ride cymbal, and we were supposed to go back to this section, and then it just opened up, and we just, you know what I mean? We just left it. It sounded so good. So that kind of stuff happens all the time,
That's nuts.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It does, and it blows my
You
mind.
get carried away, and then it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you try to reach for things. I mean, I'm more guilty of being like a form guy than Ray. He'll improv all night, and then I'm coming from like, okay, how can we make this good song a great song by arranging, trimming the fat a little bit. Let's do 2 verses, and then you know what I mean. It's like I grew up with that kind of stuff, and always it's amazing how like you could go in and trim it a little bit and make it a good song into a great song,
Yeah.
Even stuff that we do now on those records, we fix, and Trey does that too. You get on tour and like, wait a minute, let's get rid of that last verse or something, whatever it may be. But it's a constant motion, but they are songs, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But like, definitely. Yeah, they are.
To the untrained ear, it's tough for me to wrap my head around that. Like what you said about like I was supposed to be hitting the ride cymbal here and I didn't, or whatever. That there's that much intention and like planning, specificity that goes into it. Like it doesn't.
You just think it's all improv all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it isn't. I mean, it is too, but I mean, it's definitely, you start with songs, and I'm always harping on melody, but there is some stuff, even like we're working on this new song, and then Ray did something and I reacted to it, and then we did it again. He goes, oh, do that thing you did before. Like, oh, you like that? And all of a sudden it's like, all right, that's the 3rd section. You know what I mean? And I listened back on the recording. I recorded it. It's like, yeah, that's because you react and you come up with something. You're taking what you play, and then by reacting, it makes something else. And then you don't know how to hang on to that, and
right.
So those improv that way in the writing process helps them. That's kind of how we write. Or we'll always say like, okay, we got this song's got a decent arrangement. Now we got to go out live and air it out. And then that's when the magic really can start happening. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's when you're talking about you improv a little bit, or like, okay, yeah, this tempo is like, I remember one we were doing for years and it never really seemed to work. One day in the van, I think we're driving to New York. We're like, let's play just a little bit slower and see if that works. And wow, what a difference it made, So just start putting into that stuff,
Wow.
Hey, what's happening?
Hola.
It's the middle of the show, and
What?
we're breaking
It's
for
the
an
middle of the
ad.
show.
Yeah, this is a little different.
Boring.
Sounds like a good break.
It's not boring.
to talk about
Not boring.
Divine Premium
Cannabis.
Cannabis.
It was one of our awesome sponsors and happens to be my lifeblood. It keeps me a paycheck and paying rent and living here and
Yeah.
doing
Oh,
No
yeah.
Simple Road.
And
So-
it'll keep you it's nice and stoned, or nice and pain-free, or nice and no migraines, or nice and no anxiety, all that stuff. You can go in there, and going into a dispensary can be kind of overwhelming for those of us that aren't in the cannabis industry like Santa Claus over here. But
Santa Claus.
But if you go-
correction.
that's right. If you go into Define and you tell them that you aren't really sure what you're looking for, but you tell them what's going on with you, the bud tenders there will take the time to figure it out with you. Apple, actually, Monday through Friday, if you go over there, Apple will come out of the back
At
in
Hillsboro.
in a cloud of cannabis smoke, dressed like an Indian chief. And he will hand you a peace pipe filled with the exact strain that you need for your life.
That's not what will happen,
That is
but
what's
Apple
gonna
will
happen.
definitely help you pick your tincture out.
Imagining that.
I'll try. I'm waiting for one of you to come in. I'm throwing a challenge. Somebody show up.
Right?
Carrie, you come in. So come in so I can float out whatever the week's thing is. Every week it's something different. But anyway,
I like that.
come down, visit us. We have 2 locations. One in Hillsboro, where I work at. We'll come floating out of doors doing something. And we have one in Forest Grove. Come in, we will take care of you. We have all your topicals, edibles, smokables, vapables, dabbables, everything you can want.
All the
and we
appables.
will help educate you. So come visit us and
tell 'em
mention
that-
you listen to
yeah.
No Simple Road.
Why?
You'll get 10% off your entire purchase.
What else?
And a
you get a
free
free
t-shirt.
t-shirt. So come visit Divine and take care of your head.
Head. Oh, you know what?
What
What?
else?
We also have one more thing to tell you guys about.
What?
Have you ever listened to Fish?
Out of a fish?
That you got from Electric Fish Lights?
Shit.
If you don't know by now, you've been missing something.
You are
man.
missing something because you should have been gone to Electric Fish Lights and saw the cool ass shit that they're pumping out, and so creative.
So these lights are made with this thing called IQ technology. It stands for interlocking quadrilaterals. It's a system of 30 interlocking pieces that can be configured into 15 different shapes. And when you add more pieces, the shapes are endless. So you design it, they build it. You choose the shape, size, and color. All lamps come fully assembled and are ready to be plugged in when they arrive. They're made from upcycled vinyl like milk jugs, plastic, stuff like that. They come with a 12-foot cord, a 12-year energy-efficient, safe-to-leave-on LED light bulb, and a hardware kit to hang your light, so they will leave you hanging, but in a really good way. So these can be used outside, and like I said, they make custom designs. So you can tell them, like, I want Pickle Rick, I want SpongeBob, I want my
They
Get-
like a challenge.
my
Every challenge
Get
they
inverted
get.
logo.
Yeah.
It-
A listener got a wonderful crafted, super dope, like I don't even know, but it's
What?
I don't know what the shape is. I'm trying to think of the shape.
It's one of them shapes,
It's one
man.
of them shapes. It's like roundish,
It's one of them
but
shapes.
not exactly.
And he's always doing care. And then also, almost every sports team, he will make you a light. I have my Philadelphia Eagles one. Just go to his website and look at it and throw a challenge at him.
Yeah.
And you can get 10% off. You put in the promo code NSR when you check out, you get 10% off. And any NSR family member that gets the color changing upgrade light bulb, you're going to get a limited edition special
Poster.
No Simple Road collaboration poster. It's part of your order while they last. And I'm sure they're going fast. So go check out electricfishlights.com. Follow them on Instagram at electricfishlights and get enlightened.
Click.
No Simple Road is part of Osiris Media, and one of the coolest things that's happening right now, check it out, Apple.
What?
Mike Fenoya and O'Teal Burbridge have a new podcast on Osiris Media, dude, called Comes a Time Podcast. So this first episode, let's see. In the first episode, Mike and O'Teal talk about how they first met, became friends, and got the idea to do the podcast. They talk about what the music and comedy world share in common and how they both inform their take on today's social climate. So there's going to be guests on this show like Bob Weir, maybe, I would think. Yeah, that's going to happen. That's a thing. That's
I
happening.
think O'Teal knows him.
And the first 3 episodes are out now. So this right here is one of the reasons that I love being part of Osiris Media. Stuff like this, collaborations happening, the music world, the comedy world, the podcast world, all mashing up into this wonderful little thing that's happening.
Yeah, this is a great combination. When you mentioned these two doing a podcast together, I was like, what? That interested me.
This.
And then also, we've had them both on our show.
Yeah.
You guys
Yeah.
can go back and listen to either one of those interviews.
So check out all the other podcasts on Osiris Media and support the family, folks.
I was just going to say, I bet that helps. I mean, like bands like that kind of doing the improv, it probably, I mean, that's like your workshop playing live in front of a crowd to get the reaction and get the feel back. Like, okay, that one really worked. The crowd, that landed with the crowd.
Yep. Yeah. The Aaron, what is that? I'm a big fan of this guy, Nick Lowe. He's a songwriter, and he always talk about, you bring him out to the crowd and then you see what sticks, you know? And sometimes you don't know. We've written songs in bands like, I don't know about this one. And it's like people's favorite song or stuff. Like, how does that happen? You know what I mean? Just sometimes you're so close to it, you don't even know. Like, I wrote this song years ago, and it was like this silly tune. Like, let's play it. It's kind of weird, but it's kind of stupid. But it's like same thing. It's like that was like the hit almost, the local. You know,
Wow.
It's like what?
You just never know.
Happy accident.
No, you don't. Happy accidents too. You never know. You just gotta. Like I could play that African guy. My brother, he had the accent. You got to stick your neck out, man. You know, and he would do that and try things, and you never know.
So
That's what makes it cool. It makes it hard or whatever, you know.
Yeah, and
you got to take chances, you know.
You said that, you know, knowing how to hang on to that when something lands or reacting to something that the person that you're playing with is doing. Is that something that comes through practice, or is that ear?
What is a city without its music?
The legacy of the New York Philharmonic is incredible.
Nearly 2 centuries of history. That's a lot of music and a lot of stories.
I was sitting on stage for the very first time thinking, I can't quite believe this is happening.
Join me, Jamie Bernstein, as we explore the history of the New York Philharmonic. It's the NY Phil story made in New York, a podcast about a city, its people, and their orchestra. Listen wherever you get podcasts.
I think it's a little bit of both, you know, of just being a part of the songwriting process of the improv stuff, you know, when you catch it, you know,
right.
Whatever. And sometimes you don't too, but it's just like with that thing, what I was talking about with that song, it was like, Ray, do that again. I'm like, oh wow, I was just reacting to you. And then you listen back to it, it's like, wow, okay, you know, until you keep it. But it's really just having the experience, you know, the experience of doing it all the time. Because I'm just amazed sometimes. I come down, Ray lives up the mountain for me. I'm driving back down the mountain. I'm like, wow, we really come up with some cool stuff today. That was like a well 3 hours spent, you know?
Yeah.
It's a nice feeling driving back from the mountain knowing you had a mountaintop moment, you know?
It was, you know, it's just like, wow, I'm really lucky. I live back in Vermont, and I'm being just as creative as I was when I was hanging out in Boston or something, you know, or more or whatever, you know. It's cool.
So what do you see, Russ, coming out of this, you know, coming out of this quarantine and all of this? Like, you know, no one knows what's going to happen, but like, what would you like to happen, or what would you see happening as we start opening up and, you know, as far as gigs and stuff like that?
Well, first I hope we get a vaccine, but other than that, I think maybe it's just gonna, I don't know, people are gonna just appreciate it a little bit more. And then a lot of people got a lot of stuff to put out. I don't know, you know. I mean, this scene is different than the you know, other scenes too. But you know, people always appreciate it. But I just think it's going to be a next level appreciation, and I know I will be. Just the fact to do a gig, you know. I mean, I can remember getting bands together, and it taken a while, and we're rehearsing more than we're doing gigs. And I remember the first gig with a new band. It's like people are dancing to us, man. It's like this exciting moment. I'm hoping that's going to kind of be the thing. People are going to really appreciate it, and that, you know, whatever.
You know,
everybody's so ready to dance.
Yeah, we were seeing like, I don't know, maybe 30 plus shows a year and some festivals, and you know, and then to have it all just stop, it's tough, man. And we've said what you just said on the show over and over again. Like, I appreciated it before. I did. That's my therapy. That's church as far as
medicine.
It's medicine.
Yeah.
And then having it gone is stunning. And when we're back, it's going to be a new level of energy in those rooms for a long time, man. It's going to change the game.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I was hesitant because you guys already appreciate it so much, and I'm so appreciative of that. But yeah, it's going to be some other level. I think it's going to be.
Yeah, we're all going to leave our body and disappear.
I've said it a couple times. I got to be careful not to hurt myself. The first couple shows. I'm 51 now, so I could, throw something out.
Yeah, exactly. You're out of shape. You got to warm up before you get up to it.
You pull a hammer.
Exactly. Oh man, that's funny. Like all of a sudden, it's like, wait a minute, I'm up. I mean, I worry about that being a drummer, and like when I go on tour, man, I got to be in shape. I mean, I ride my bike and I practice. I'm playing a lot. I feel like my drumming, other than the live, you play a whole lot different when you play live in a sense, and you build up the live chops too. But I'm definitely think about that too, the endurance and stuff. It's different. Like because somebody's asking the other day, you come off tour and. You're sharp, you know what I mean? You do some local gig and you're like, it's popping even more than it was, whatever. And it's like, whew, I don't know, man.
That's what I always kind of thought. Like you're at home practice. I always kind of looked at it kind of like an athlete, a musician. Like you're at home keeping your chops up all the time. But that's like going to the gym. And then when you get to play live, that's like the bodybuilding competition where you let it all out and oil up and bam.
Yeah, man, I know. Well, no,
okay, I didn't make it.
Well, I don't oil up anymore.
I just grossed Aaron out.
But what makes it feel any better? We call oiling some of my friends drinking. But I don't oil up when I drink. When I play after the show. But yeah, no, it is, and it's just I try to, I'm just practicing a lot as I can, man, and. So I'm ready, man. When the call comes in, man,
we're ready to be there. When you said at the beginning of the show, you said, yeah, we're going to be playing a little gig. I was like, or we're getting on a plane. Where are we going? But
we might. There is, the guy from the Higher Ground in Burlington. Have you ever heard of that place?
Yeah,
they did they built a drive-in with a 40 like this, one of those big like LED screens like you see at the festival,
right?
And yeah, man, and they have the car 6 feet apart. Fits 200 cars, and which is really smart. I mean, people are doing driving gigs now, but this is like you're tuning your radio,
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy.
You know what? It just goes to show that live music is never going to go away, no matter what,
and that it's important.
It's essential.
It's really important. I think sometimes we forget, like. These things are good for our psyches. They're good for our souls. They're good for our hearts. They're good for connection and relationships, like
community, for
so many different things. And when we don't have it, it's not just hearing it, it's what it does for us.
I agree. I always say, like, I'll go see some inspiring music and I'll wake up the next day and play. I'm like, wow, I'm playing really good today. I'm like, note to self, you just saw some really great music last night, and it reflects on the way you play the next day.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yes. Gives you a little, little pat on the booty to keep going.
And it also lets you see stuff you never saw.
Yeah, and it just inspires. Like, even like, you talk about Jabu. Like, I remember I was watching this Bernard Purdy, who's a fabulous, tasteful drummer. I was watching this video of him, and then the next day I went up to Trey's house, and I was inspired by Bernard, man. He's just, it's like, whoa. And then that beat just came out. It's not nothing like some incredible fancy beat, but it had attitude and sound and whatever. It had fun written all over it.
Yeah, it does. It still has fun written all over it, man. Yeah, you hear that beat, it's on.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, thank you. Yeah, it's whatever. I think about that those times when you just hear this music and the next day it just like I'm in a good mood today.
Yeah, that's how I come home from a show too. Next day I'm like, yeah. But you know what? When we're not practicing and going and seeing shows, like, what kind of stuff do you do other than playing drums and recording music? What kind of hobbies you got?
Oh God. Let me think here. Well, play drums. No.
Yeah, right.
No, I've been married for many years, so especially when I'm busy, like if I have like a Sunday off and I'm home, it's like a celebration. I'm hanging out with my wife, we go do stuff, and she's a Vermont girl, so we have like this incredible garden. So she kicks my ass and I go out there and work in the garden, but we get all this like kale and all this great food. And matter of fact, I'm seeing her right now. She's mowing the lawn with a tractor. But she loves doing it, but I did some too. No, but we're really into food. I'm like vegan, really important thing in my life, and keep having a great diet is something that I do every day. And matter of fact, she just bought me a Vitamix for Father's Day. So I've been using huge. I've been doing like the NutriBullet, which works good, but I kept wearing out the blade thing, and it'd be so loud. And then they're like, "You got to buy one once a month." I'm like, "Just get a Vitamix," So that's like a big thing in my life. I'm really influenced by that.
What prompted that?
Being vegan?
Yeah.
Well, I was vegetarian. You know how it happened? I moved to Woodstock, New York, and my neighbor. There was two they used to call them health food stores back in the days.
I remember.
Before remember that? Okay. Mm-hmm. And there was two of them in that town. And my neighbor was like, "What are you eating?" I'm like, we're cooking some meat or something, whatever, pot roast or something, whatever. And I wanted to go that way, but I never did. I was young. I was like 21 years old, and she fed me all this vegetarian food. I'm like, "This is incredible, man." And like, I never tasted it, and this tastes so good. And I'm really open-minded. And I started with that, and we just started rolling in just by being there, and people and people. I worked at this restaurant, Bear Cafe. It was a French restaurant, but there was a lot of other different kind of food and things. And then I moved to Vermont, and two of the other guys in the band Zebra were vegetarians. I was vegetarian back then. And again, too, there was a health food store right downtown, and it was a product of the environment. Because in Burlington back then, it was a lot of people coming to the gigs. We were this Afrobeat band, so it was kind of like, it was really like a fish crowd or whatever. And it was kind of that back then. So, and I remember our first gig, the place sold out. I was like, "What's going on, man?" We just started this. It was so amazing. They supported the band, and it was like, wow. And then so you meet all these people, and I remember even like it was like rehearsing and outside of Burlington, these people like, "Hey Russ, what are you doing tonight? Come to our solstice party." I'm like, "Well, what's that?" Summer solstice. I was just, it was just like these real worldly things that I got influenced by.
That's awesome.
But that really, and just traveling with this band, and we'd all be making pots of brown rice and vegetables and whatever. Just, and I ran with it, and I kept it up. And
so how do you keep that up when you were like touring?
Well, with Trey, it's easy because they have catering, and they have because everybody's at least a vegetarian now, a lot of people. So they'll still have meat and stuff, but they make it vegan. This is easy for them to make it vegan. But when I'm touring with Ray, I'm definitely bringing some supplies.
Okay.
Yes. Like I'll make like a big old bag of, like my wife does it now. I've done it for so many years. I can't stand my own granola anymore, but that's like the easiest thing to bring because it doesn't, it keeps really well.
Right.
So I'll eat that for breakfast and then buy some fruit I'll bring some fruit, bring apples. They last, bananas don't really last, or raisins. And then now, years ago, there was this girl, I wish I could remember her name, but she wrote this book called The Tofu Toll Booth. And she toured a lot. So she wrote down for every city or town around the country, you could find vegetarian food, and then the hit like record stores and all that. So awesome. I used to carry that book. But now there's one called The Happy Cow. And now everything's an app now. So it's on my phone. It's called The Happy Cow. So even when I'm with Trey, we have a day off. Like I remember, like, all right, well, I got to go find somewhere to eat. I'm like looking at, and it gives you like the mileage, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's like 1 mile. It's like, oh, it's right across the street, it's something or whatever. So you find food that way,
it's
or
like
if it's
for a vegetarian.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So you find ways, you bring supplies, or even if I'm going out for the weekend, like say I'm doing a 3-day one with Ray, I'll make some peanut butter jelly sandwiches. And they'd be like, I remember like a few times, Ray, I'm so hungry, and I just reach in my bag, like, here you go, bro. Oh. And it gets you through till you get to the gig, do sound check, and have dinner with something.
Yeah.
It's survival. You learn to. And then when I was younger, when I was in Zebra, when I first started touring, I got really sick. I wasn't really, I wasn't, being terrible drugs or anything, but I just was not eating that well and not learning how to do this,
Right.
And I remember went to one gig and it was double booked. The guy's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, it's double booked, but have whatever you want, open bar." And I think I drank too much whiskey and I got really sick and got strep throat or something. Note to self, man.
Yeah.
No drink. Take care. You need to take care of yourself. And I haven't looked back. That was a long time ago.
That's something that I've learned talking to musicians on the show. When I was younger, I had this, and I know that there is a good portion of them that do this, but I thought everybody was on acid all the time, partying constantly, and that was it, and from talking to you guys, I've realized that it really is a discipline to be able to be on the road and maintain your physical body and your mental and physical health. And if you don't pay attention to that, you're going to really have a hard time.
Yeah. What would happen, even in some of those early tap tours, halfway through the tour, a 3-week tour, you start, your energy level goes down. That's note to self. You know what happened to me? Actually, I was thinking of reading Ozzy Osbourne was on a treadmill or something. I'm like, if that's getting ready for a tour, if that dude's doing that, I better get on the case here.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
And it's your energy level. You really need to have that extra gas tank. I got one of those Fitbits for Christmas, and it tells you even today I practice for a little bit and whatever. I get 20,000 steps in. It counts the drumming. So I do get exercise from drumming, but you still need that energy on the road to keep that drumming to do those 20,
Well, yeah, you're pouring
so it's
it
really
out.
Well, that's like we watch Bobby Weir's workouts, or staying in shape, getting older and stuff, and he's
swinging iron clubs,
out there swinging maces and clubs around and just getting
Oh wow,
yeah. He's figured it out too, man. It's a weird balance of taking care of yourself and still having fun.
Yeah, it's I don't really party till I have a couple beers maybe after at the show. Even that I'm feeling, whatever. I don't really get wasted or anything. I even drinking on the gigs. I learned that a long time ago. Oh yeah, that's what you do. And I'm by the second set, I was like, I need a nap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's even more badass that you're completely sober, eating healthy, and rocking out and having fun. Yes, that is the future of rock and roll and jazz and music. Truly, kids need to know that, okay, yeah, you can totally party and, get wasted, and that's fun too, but try doing it sober and maintaining your energy and raising the vibe of the whole place because you're on fire. That is really awesome, and what a great role model you are to people out there, just in general.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you. I want to keep doing it, and that's how you do it, and you just to keep on top of it all,
Yeah,
it's hard enough as it is, you know.
Yes, life is hard enough.
Yeah, life is, and then also too is I have a daughter and she's older now, but when my wife wanted to get her career going, so she's a city planner, and I was home in the day with her. And years ago, I'd be out with my boys every night after rehearsal. I'm not going to wake up hungover and hang out with my daughter. I'm not doing that. So I didn't even drink for a long time.
Oh, that's respect. That's having cool. respect for your family.
Yeah, and nothing against people. I drink again.
Yeah,
but
no.
but it's not
we get where you're coming from.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? Totally. I'm not going to wake up go play with your toys.
Daddy's tired still. He's got a headache.
Go watch Sesame Street. Leave me alone. Of course, she would do that. And then I go practice on my pad, but now she's a good songwriter, so she got something out of it.
Right on, man.
We were talking to somebody too that said the same thing. They quit drinking quite early. They're when I realized that I could not remember, people would be like, that was a great gig last night. And it's oh, really? Wish I was there. You don't remember what happened. And that was that's kind of embarrassing when you get compliments and you don't know what on because you're getting too high or
whatever. So
and that's really, that's tough. And I think sometimes too, I know people make it earlier in life and then you get on that grind of touring a lot and then it just sort of, that's all you've kind of known is the early stages and when you're young and then, it's a bad cycle you get into.
And
I
that
think
shit'll
you know?
catch up to you too, man.
And all of a sudden you're like torn down and you're like 40 years old. You don't realize you can get another 30 years or more out of that playing, man, because music goes on forever.
Yeah, it does.
Healthy.
That's the beautiful thing about it. At the beginning of our conversation, you said the name of the new album. What's it called again?
Lamp.
It's called Lamp.
Lamp. Yeah, that's the name of the band. It's just that's the name of the album too. Lamp.
Why? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't normally do this, but I got to ask. Why Lamp?
Oh, it's just because it's our names. That was the easiest thing. Lawton, Metzger, and Paczkowski.
Oh,
okay. That's what
yeah.
Okay.
No, man.
When I got it
Like,
pulled up,
like,
we're going to listen to. There's one song available right now that we'll be listening to right after this.
Awesome.
Yeah, and there's a video out there too. And if you can't find it, let me know. It's a really cool video we did with this guy, and I'll just text it to you when we get done.
Cool.
At this number. Yeah, I'm really excited about it, man. It's again too, just still putting out music, and just being the creative process.
We need it right now, brother. We need it.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm curious too. You mentioned Zebra. I pulled that up here.
Two Z's.
Yeah, 2 Z's. So, okay, yeah, from the '70s, Zebra, the Panic, Lost World. This is the right one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I'm not on those records. That was the London band.
Okay.
And we never. It's funny you say that because my daughter was like, "Dad, you need to put that stuff out," because it's like one of those unfortunate things. What happened with a lot of bands? We recorded some music. We had this thing on vinyl. It never made it to the digital world. So my daughter was saying, "Dad, you got to get that stuff up," because nobody's like, barring that. People do buy vinyl, but it's not out there to the public. There's some great stuff on those records, but we were very different band than that. It was more refined. They're more like a jazz fusion band. We had some other more Afrobeat kind of stuff, but that guy Lofty, he's the sax percussionist. I learned so much from him, and awesome. He was like going to school with that guy. I've been talking about that guy since we started playing.
Well,
that was a long time ago, but stuff that stays with you. Any of those songs, Simple Twist Up Dave from Trey band, all that stuff was really rooted from the years I was in that band.
Yeah.
I wish he was still around for me to tell him to give him credit. He passed away a long time ago, but
that's really cool.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but Russ, I sincerely appreciate you taking the time with us today, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, what an inspiring conversation you gave us. We really appreciate that.
Thank you. No, I appreciate it, man. People asking me to do this, man. But Lindsay, I get too. You don't take it for granted. You know what I mean? And even one thing like on the fish scene and that, there's no age thing, which is really cool. I mean, I'm an elder musician now, not that older, but like I was listening to this podcast today, and this drummer was like, 51, man. None of the guys he's in Nashville. Go, none of the Nashville new stars want me. I'm already too old. I'm like, God, I'm fucked.
Good thing you're doing your own thing, man.
Yeah. Exactly. Or even this one girl was there and said, I know, and she was like, the cutoff is 35, and she was working with this guy, and he was just getting signed. And that was for the young country bands, which I'm not really a big fan of a lot of that music. But she was like, I was just turning 35 and he just signed with Columbia. I'm like, sign that contract so I could get in under the gun, It was like, so what a mentality, Wow. But it's all about image, sometimes, I mean, there are people that you see that have the pedal steel cat that's older. And that guy from the Black Keys, Dan Arabach, he's been using all the cats, the older cats on his sessions, and I think it's so wonderful.
Yeah, man, those guys are talented. We saw them here at the Monde last year. They're amazing.
Yeah, it's one of Aaron and Melanie's son's favorite bands. We went for your birthday,
my birthday.
Yeah, and took their son and really dug what they were doing.
And who is that again?
Black Keys.
Oh, the Black Keys. Yeah, they're great, man. And then and he has a lot of it. He's got some solo albums that are really good, Dan Auerbach. He produces a lot of good music too, man. He did a Dr. John album that was it was so good, and a couple of albums that I just respect what he does. It's so tasteful.
Mm-hmm.
And
totally.
too so much great music out there, man.
Right.
But where do you guys live? Are you guys in Vegas? I saw the thing. Are you in LA or?
No, we're in Portland, Oregon. We moved 4 years ago from Vegas up to Portland, and
lived in Vegas most our lives, and got out of the desert and traded it for the Pacific Northwest, which we love.
Oh, cool. I love Portland, man. Oh, that place. I was just thinking about the Crystal Palace there. Is that what it's called? Crystal Ballroom?
Crystal Ballroom,
Yes.
yeah.
Crystal Palace is in Vegas, though.
That's a skating rink.
Oh, there was one. I went to high school in Cape Cod. There was one there. I used to play down in the Peanut Gallery, it was called, and the Crystal Palace was upstairs. But that place is amazing. Portland, I love. That's a good. That place. It's funny you said it because I remember when I liked that town. I was downtown, put my suitcase down, went to go some food. I had vegan food in my hand within 10 minutes. It was like, this place is cool.
Oh, yeah. Portland is hip when it comes to food and stuff like food and beer.
Food, music.
And weed.
And weed, yeah.
And weed, too, yeah, all right.
Cannabis, food, and beer up here. It's where it's at.
Yeah, that's interesting. And Vegas has a music scene. I know that other than the Strip, I've met some people that, they utilize making money on the Strip, but there's other kind of creative scene going on there, too.
Yeah. There was a whole underground thing happening there, man. We were having huge drum parties in the dry lake beds there every month, and hundreds of people drumming, and it was pretty awesome.
Fantastic.
Wow, it's so amazing! Like all these little pockets of places, and there's people that need to be creative, and they do it. It's so cool. I mean, that's even like people. I moved up to Vermont, and my Boston people, like, what's up there, man? I go, this is like a little scene. It's cool, man. It's some cool, and it's always been some creative musicians up here. It's not like New York or this and that, but there's stuff going on. There's some great little studios, and it's cool.
Yeah, man. What's come out of Vermont is some of our favorite stuff, man. So I got to give it. I think that's on our list.
That is on our list of places to get back up to that area. We got friends and listeners that want us to come, and we want to get up there.
So maybe we'll see you for a show out there. Yeah. All right, man. Well,
yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, we'll let you go, man. I could talk music all night.
Russ, I appreciate you, man, and I thank you for your time, brother. And we're gonna play out that song as we go out. So.
Oh, cool, man. Thanks. And hopefully I get to meet you guys in person someday.
Oh, yeah.
And,
if you come to Portland, man, you got a place to stay. We got a nice house for you.
We'll hook you up, man.
Yep. Cook some vegan food.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's another thing we miss. We usually have bands that have been staying with us by now, but we're going to get there soon, man.
Yeah.
That's cool. I used to do a lot of crashing on floors. Once in a while, now I have some bands in Burlington like, Russ, I'm like, get down here. The drummer stays in the drum room, and the rest of you guys fend for yourself. But whatever. But I'm kidding. But well, nice to meet you all, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, man. You
made
my day.
Beautiful day. Yeah, us too, man. We needed conversation outside of each other.
Yep.
Yeah, cool, man. And I'll send you that video right now.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Take care, Russ.
man.
Okay. Take care, man. Bye.
freaking cool guy, man.
Yeah.
I feel like we haven't done an interview in a long time.
It's been a week.
Gosh.
It's been a week.
Yeah, but
this
it
week
seems
has
like,
been extra
you know
long,
what that
man.
reminded me of too? There's something about Bostonians and East Coast people. It kind of reminded me of Rob Baracco when we interviewed him. Very animated, and that accent that kind of.
You know what? Him and Rob kind of remind me of each other in a in a like energy kind of a way. Yeah, you're right, Apple. That's a weird thing. Like we're all Americans and we all live in this country, but it's
not all of us.
It's a
that are
trip
listening.
that's true. We got listeners all over the world.
It's a trip that people on the West Coast are different than people on the East Coast. It's a different mindset, and it's faster and a little bit more rough on the East Coast. And the West Coast, it has that image of being
very
laid
polished
back.
And professional.
Oh yeah,
and
East Coast. I'm not throwing shade
no,
at all.
It's just in addition to what you're saying. Like there is a lot of education in the East Coast that comes out of playing. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, we're looking at a picture of Russ right now.
That's just like a solid dude. Like,
yeah. Period.
You want
just
him in your band for sure.
I just love that
Russ
he.
and Ray.
Aw. I love that he's maintaining himself, and he is like with his wife, with the whole food and bringing stuff with him, because that's something that back in the day when we first started talking to bands, like how do you stay healthy, or how do you,
or do you stay healthy?
Exactly. And not a lot of, I haven't heard that a lot as much, and that's we
heard a lot of Who Says I Do.
Exactly.
I remember that, like Who Says I Do.
I forgot who that was.
Keep healthy on the road, and then it's like, just kidding, man. You really got to try hard. Or somebody said there, that's an old song or something. It's like you got to own the road. You can't let the road own you, or you're doomed.
That's true.
Oh shit.
Well, if you do anything long enough, you learn how to improve. If you're a runner.
Or you don't.
Well, I don't think that's true. If you're a runner for a long time, you figure out what kind of shoes work for you by cycling through. If you're playing an instrument, you figure out whether you like a pick or your fingers. If you're a cook, you figure out that you like Dutch ovens versus regular pots or what. You know what I'm saying? Like there's always a growth period. And for him, the touring, improving his health, that is...
Yeah, he's got this.
You step up the game, you change it up, Well, and maybe that's why that energy in the music is so fascinating.
There's a lot of people that didn't get that. It's always sad to me, like some of the greats, like Janis Joplin and Jim Morrison and them. They were great talents, but they didn't. It was too much for them.
Well, sometimes it was like, what if they were meant to bring that amount of energy, and that's like,
all. They're like a shooting star.
Exactly, a comet, a shooting star. Like, of course, we would love to have those talents in our life and our world now, but think about what they did, and sometimes you can't create such an impact if you linger around for too long.
Forever.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Like, that's how you start to appreciate artists when they pass away. Now it's like a great, it's a legend. It's,
a legacy that you left behind.
I don't know that Nirvana would be so fantastic right now the way that they were so impactful when they first started. Yeah. I mean, that's just a generalization.
What do you mean?
When Nirvana came out, they were so brand new, so it
was an explosion.
Yeah,
and then when that explosion was over,
happened.
What's going to happen?
Yeah, exactly. That's where my point is.
The explosion happened. Now what are you guys doing?
And I'm not saying that the artists can't reinvent themselves. Look at Madonna, look at Prince, Michael Jackson did that. Like, a lot of people maintain, but like certain people, they come in hot already. You know what I mean? And they bring it. So I don't know. Like, I guess I'm just grateful for all musicians, past, present, and future.
Heck yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's
every genre, every instrument.
Like Russ just said, it's like somebody who's just born in 15 years.
Yeah.
That guy's gonna. Well, I mean, look at guys
Jasper
like
playing the harmonica.
Playing the harmonica, the keyboard, DJ. I mean, he's
Yeah.
Look at guys like Taz,
Oh, exactly.
Billy Strings.
Billy Strings,
There's-
Marcus King. That's the next generation
true.
that's coming up, man.
And like all them, they have such a
Daniel Donato.
Yep.
and you see that like deep all that we've talked to the like these young people that have such a deep respect for everything that came before them and that's in front of them. Like him complimenting the guy from the Black Keys of keeping that alive, using all these older musicians.
That's
and
that whole
there's a
thing
lot
that he
of
said tripped me
respect.
out. Like, oh, there's a
It's in every
35-year-old
industry.
cutoff. Like, what? So
That-
what you're
that's the music industry.
So what you're telling me is you don't want experience.
No, what
it's
they're
that
telling you is
image.
we don't want those wrinkles. We don't want that. We want to produce an image that's fresh and youthful, and if we can't do that with a 75-year-old drummer, no matter how good he is.
In the music scene nowadays, that's the rarity too. That's the polished, like, this is what's going to sell millions and be on
Exactly.
every radio
It's image.
station.
They sell image.
But most people don't want that.
Yeah, remember, like,
Well,
it's not every
most people
genre.
we know.
It's not every
That's true.
genre that cares so much about the playing. Other genres are like, what does that person look like? How does it sound? You know what I mean? Like, it's
I've
not
never-
always the quality of the music.
Reminds me of White Men Can't Jump. You'd rather look good and lose than look
Yeah.
bad and win.
Well, some of the pop music is not like that. That's not all of it, but a lot of the pop
No.
music is to just kind of get like an initial look at me, not necessarily depth of the musician.
I never thought about it like that. I've never been into that scene, so I never.
Well, like Debbie Gibson.
No, I know. I get what you. I get it. I never thought about it like that. Yeah, that's a trip. Like it's when I listen to music, I want to hear good music. I don't give two shits what the person playing looks like or what they wear, or
Well, think about it like this:
unless they're wearing a muumuu, then they're awesome.
I was
when
going to say I
wanna
care
hear,
what to wear.
when I want to hear music, like I want to like dance and have fun. Like I don't care about lyrics or scales or not. Well, I mean, it's a mood. For me, it's a mood. So I can throw on Debbie Gibson and I know that it's not fantastic music, but like shake your love, like I could dance to it and groove to it. I'm not looking for anything like super deep at that point. But then when I throw on Radiohead, maybe I want to think a little bit more about reflect and, be on a journey through the music. Like, so there's reasons for every genre, whether it's heavy or
music,
not.
it's like food for the soul and the heart and everything.
Yeah, sometimes you want a
Sometimes you
popsicle.
want spicy jambalaya. Sometimes you want chilled chamber music in your room. Like,
Sometimes you want fast food.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yep. Sometimes you want that just quick fix that everybody,
And so thank
I'm
God to all
loving
the unique, different musicians out there that fill that void and that gap for us.
Hey, Mel.
What?
Yeah.
How do you catch a unique rabbit?
Unique up on it.
I'm sorry. Every time somebody says unique, I think that.
Unique New
I was
York.
wondering why she said that, and he just gets this like little grin on his face.
Because
Like,
I
he's
already
like,
know.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
I know. It just like my point's like, whew, it's just.
Hey, gotta be quick around here.
I was. It's not about being quick.
Well, Russ, you're a gentleman, and we appreciate you, man. So,
Yeah, that was a fun
for
conversation.
taking
Laughs
time.
had, a little education, everything. That was like well-rounded, wonderful.
Super fun.
And you know what, you guys?
And
What?
happy Father's Day, Russ. It's a little couple weeks late, but happy Father's Day.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That too.
Yeah, it's still in June.
It is still in June. You're right. All right. I'll take it. Everybody out there, you know what?
What?
Take care of each other.
Yes.
Smile at a stranger.
Take care of yourself.
And enjoy the song to follow.
Yeah. And wash your hands. We love you guys. We'll see you next week with more stuff and things. Well, the song already happened.
Peace.
Bye. We love you.
You enjoyed it.
Yourself.
Like twist and turn, the mission turn, and it's a journey. Wish the world has many problems, but it's a burden. Family needs has been deferred, and hella means been the earth, and alchemy can bring the birth, the melody of a new born. So persistent, so resistant, so insistent, so commitment, so resilient, or haven't you learned it? No simple road. 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 shattered as I focus through the spot in the corner that is still intact. The react is both a defense mechanism as well as a fear. We've traveled this road before, so we may think, but it's a tad bit of strange similarities that feed an A=A complex. The fears of your past do not equal the perplexities of the current road.
Hey listeners, I want to tell you about the April-May 2023 issue of Relics magazine. Features a Dave Matthews Band cover story with additional articles and interviews with The National, Graham Nash, Wayne Shorter, ALO, Ivan Neville, our friend Eric Krasno and Stanton Moore, Marty Stewart, and much more. Check out the latest version of Relics and subscribe now at relics.com/DMB. Thanks, Relics.
Hi, this is Paul Phelps.
And this is Monica Strutt.
And we're from the Daily Music Business Podcast. We're joined by a number of other really great hosts in creating daily content with great advice for independent musicians just like you.
That's right. We put out episodes daily on all topics from music marketing to branding, advice on signing with a manager and label, and anything else you need to up-level the business side of your music career. We've got it covered.
Subscribe to the Daily Music Business Podcast today on your favorite podcast catcher.
Subscribe today to the Daily Music Business Podcast on your favorite podcast platform.